So what the hell happened yesterday? Because we started the shadow show, and I'm whispering a little bit louder because clearly it didn't get heard by the only person that matters, which is Dan. Yesterday, we started the show saying, hey, let's all lock in. Let's downplay the trade packages from elsewhere, Golden State, Minnesota. Hype up that Heat package.
Yeah, that was good, yeah.
Explain that Tyler Hero and Khalil Ware are really good pieces to get for Milwaukee.
Don't forget the part where we were trying to trick Milwaukee into thinking Ware was good. Yeah. By playing him some more. We want to trick them.
Yeah, tricking them is the key.
That's honestly, it's the spine of the whole device.
But
where did we fail yesterday?
Where we failed.
By not doing the thing that we said we were going to do.
We set up the entire show.
What happened?
We set up the entire show.
Scranton.
To be about...
This isn't funny. Stop laughing.
Using our voice as a collective show.
Jeremy, we don't have the juice.
No, we do have the juice.
We do not have the juice.
This group of people don't. You know who has the juice?
Dan Le Batard.
Dan Le Batard. And Dan Le Batard did not walk in here and even address Giannis Antetokounmpo.
It was Dan's fault. We did great.
We talked about James Harden for 45 minutes before he was even traded. So what needs to happen? What needs to happen now is we need to use our voice in this office to get Dan to properly use his voice in the national media landscape. You know when Dan says stuff provocative, it gets aggregated.
Yeah. Voice in it.
It goes everywhere. You're damn right, Greg. Dan needs to be voicing it.
Voicing it.
On behalf of the city of Miami.
Does he have to wear a costume?
So that's up to him.
That would help. It'd be a plus.
It would probably help. I don't know if we have time between the shadow show and the regular show to get him in a costume. But we need Dan to be voicing it the way that Mike Ryan voiced it when it came to the Miami Hurricanes and we got them into the playoff. Yeah. The way that the Boston media voiced it and made sure Damian Lillard wasn't traded here that ultimately led to them getting a title. Dan Le Batard needs to speak on behalf of the city of Miami and go get that whale.
Football is back, Jack. Oh my, we've waited for so long. We're so damn excited that we put it in a song. Don't need no check downs. Give me big hits and quarterbacks. Keep your fantasy team from falling off the track. Football is back, Jack. Whether on the ground or through the air, when the chips are down and you throw a prayer, when your team is primed and on the hunt, it's 4th and 10, you refuse to punt. When the shoulder pads and helmets crack, that's how you know that football is back, Jack. Let me hear you say football is back, Jack. This high is wild and out of control, and we're gonna ride it every week till we reach the Super Bowl. Don't need no check downs. Give me big hits and quarterbacks. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Football is back, Jack. Football is back, Jack. Football is back. Football is back, Jack.
I'm not doing what you guys want me to do. I'm a journalist. I'm not bought and paid for. I'm starting with iguanas because as much as you guys complain that I say things are uniquely Miami that aren't uniquely Miami, I got to think this plague of iguanas getting frozen and then people thinking they're dead, but they're not dead. I don't think that happens anywhere in the United States outside of Miami. I told you guys once the story. Pat Riley learned it the hard way when he came out and his lawn was filled with iguanas he thought were dead. They were just frozen. It was too cold, and this is what their bodies do because they're not supposed to be here. And he buried them all, and he killed them. They weren't dead when he got them. They were just frozen, and then he killed them. Have you guys experienced this? Because it makes me sad, the number of people wandering around. Some of them are making tacos out of the iguanas, saying that they're the chicken of the tree.
Yeah, they're edible.
Stop trying to shame Pat Riley for doing Florida a service. Whenever the temperature dips, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Association deputizes all the residents of Florida to kill this invasive species.
Yeah, we're encouraged to kill iguanas. It doesn't seem right to me. I have an iguana living in my black olive tree in the front of my house. I see it occasionally. I love that thing. It's like, not counting the tail, it's like, 2 feet long.
Why wouldn't you count the tail?
Well, because the tail is just an appendage.
No, the tail is part of how it is you would measure the size of an iguana. Why
so
would you not count the tail? Chris is right about this. Why wouldn't you count the tail? The tail deserves to be counted in the measurement of the size of the iguana.
Not counting his legs, he's about 4 feet.
Yeah, not counting his head.
It goes without saying that the tail is pretty much the same length as the body. So it's a 4-foot iguana.
Okay, you just doubled it. You took half the iguana size for no reason. And it's not enough that we're killing iguana right and left. Now you're taking away their tails too?
Look, if I had a tail, okay, picture me with a tail, like a dog tail.
I'm closing my eyes. I'm picturing it.
Okay, if I had a tail,
I have it more as like a dragon tail. What are you guys doing with the tail?
Wow.
What kind of tail? A horse tail?
I think it's like a stub.
Oh, just like
Oh,
a little,
really?
like a
Yeah,
bulldog,
just like that
a
big.
little
Yeah.
bulldog
I'm
stubby
picturing
tail.
otter tail. I don't know why.
a couple of dogs ago, Sandy had a stub of a tail because it was a Puerto Rican dog, and apparently our friends in Puerto Rico have a habit of cutting tails when the animal
Puerto Rican
very
dog?
young. Yeah.
Dogs have races?
This was a Puerto Rican dog.
There's a lot of Puerto Rican rescues.
Yeah,
Willow.
It barked in
Jess's
Spanish.
dog is Puerto Rican.
There you go. But anyway, getting back to that, if I had a tail, I'm still 5'9". You're not going to increase my height because I have a
It
tail.
has nothing to do with your height. The
Sure it
iguana
does.
goes. The iguana does not. It's not measured standing up on its hind legs. It's measured by length, not height.
Right.
Yeah, if the tail pointed up, then you wouldn't measure the tail as part of the iguana's length. But it doesn't. The tail, it's horizontal.
Okay, the point is the iguana that lives in my black olive tree, I love him like a pet. I would never kill him. Okay, he's cold-blooded. If he falls out of my tree, frozen, once every 3 years, I'm going to nurture him back to health
Jumpin'
and
Charlie.
let him live.
Jumpin' Charlie would not like that.
Jumpin' Charlie would kill that thing.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Would Jumpin' Charlie kill that thing? And Jeremy, please look it up for me whether this is something that happens outside of Miami. It probably happens other places outside of the United States. I just can't imagine it happens anywhere else in the United States, that you have this grand proliferation of iguanas that seem like they're dead, but they're not dead, and they don't belong here. And symbolically, by the way, in terms of what's going on in America, like a lot of people are being cruel to the iguanas, and the saying is some form of, if you don't like ice, get out of here.
Look, I don't think the iguanas needed a famous ally the way that you're caping up for them. These are an invasive species. Do you know what that means? They're not supposed to be here. They have a negative effect on our environment.
Just like ice and what they're doing
on stolen land.
You should not be shaming anybody that is carrying out what is recommended.
99.6% of the sightings in the United States are in South Florida, particularly in Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. They're also present in the Florida Keys. The other 0.4% are made up of Texas and Hawaii.
Mm-hmm. And you know why that is, because all the other places get much colder. And so they freeze with great regularity there and probably get preyed upon.
Preyed upon by Pat Riley and all of these people in these videos who are deputized, like you're saying that we're all deputized to kill iguana, even though it's terrible.
This is like a nap, though, right? They wake up from
Yes,
this.
that's
they just-
correct.
oh,
They're
just
napping
like,
and then they're dead. That's right. They're napping and then they're dead.
Doesn't seem
Oh,
right.
I'm napping. Oh, I'm dead.
Yeah,
I don't
doesn't
like
seem right.
iguanas.
I don't like them either.
They're creepy. They're everywhere. I don't like them.
Yeah.
They
They're
look like
big.
modern-day dinosaurs.
Don't
I
like
love
it.
them.
I love them too, Greg. I have so many iguanas in my backyard, and they climb up the trees, and sometimes it's the smaller green iguanas. Then have you ever seen the giant orange ones?
Yeah,
they're
they're
incredible.
They're scary.
They're dinosaurs. It's the coolest thing. How
is.
lucky are
I
we
know.
that we live in a plane where these iguanas exist? We're lucky to
agreed.
live in nature.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm against killing them. I see Mike's point. Everything he says is true. We're encouraged to kill them. It doesn't mean it feels right.
The Miami Heat are in this building with us. The Elser Hotel is a luxury hotel across from the arena. They take very good care of us, and they take very good care of the luxury, the assortment of people who need luxury living in the area. And so because the Miami Heat are doing their 20th anniversary, a great many of the players are in the building. And I ran into in the gym, I just ran into Michael Doliak. And it was a bit awkward because I don't actually know how Michael Doliak feels about us. I didn't know beforehand, and I still don't know because he was thanking me for making people care, but he also wouldn't come in when I just said, hey, the guys would be happy to see you if you came around. And he's like, yeah, I don't want to do that. I got to get back to Montana and take care of the cows, take care of the cattle.
Was he wearing the cowboy hat in the weight room? Because he wore it all week so far.
No, he was not.
Did he say it like that? I don't want to do that.
Yes, just like that. In
Wow.
fact, in fact, this is how the conversation went. He's thanking me for, what we do, making people care.
Feels
and
pretty generic. Did he know what show he was talking about?
No, he does because one day he got a flurry of phone calls and he goes to his phone and he thought someone had died because he's like, what's going on? And it's like, no, the Le Batard Show is just playing Doliak songs. And I don't know whether he finds any of this stuff funny. And I'm like, hey, well, thank you for thanking me. And the guys would love to see you. They'd be really excited if I brought you down there to see everybody.
That would be exciting.
Yeah, and I said, if you wanted to do that, that would be wonderful. And he's like, I don't want to do that. And so he didn't do it, and he's not doing it, but it allows us the opportunity before we talk about some of the Giannis stuff, because Windhorse on Get Up is saying, I am seeing action from the Miami Heat and Timberwolves to improve their offer. The best offer I'm aware of belongs to the Warriors, but I'm not seeing a lot of momentum towards Milwaukee making a Giannis move.
How is that the best offer, the Warriors? How is that the best offer? The only player of any substance that they're offering is a guy who Steve Kerr refused to play for 17 consecutive
How
games.
do the Miami Heat still have better offers to make?
Right.
Why are we holding back here?
Right.
We're going to be stingy on the Giannis front?
Right, our team's out there playing hard to get on Giannis. You can't have that. It makes no sense.
We've whiffed on all the superstars, and here
Increasing
comes
their
like
offer.
one that maybe if Miami Heat fans had their pick of any superstar in the league, he'd be up there.
This is what I'm talking about.
What are we holding back for?
They're not holding back. That's the point. No one knows anything. Teams are increasing their offers. What are you talking about increasing their offers? We all know what every team has to offer.
How can we increase? Take whatever you want.
There's no increasing.
It's a good point.
Except Bam.
Well, that's not going to happen because the way that this really works
That would be
is
increasing,
to
though.
pair the two of them together.
Yes.
That's not the offer, and that's not what Giannis would want.
Right, and they're friends. They have the same agent, and part of the reason Giannis wants wants Miami is to play with Bam.
That's
How
exactly
are the
right.
Warriors increasing their offer?
They're
Are you
not.
telling me that they're not offering all of their picks?
No, they are.
Are you telling me they weren't offering Kuminga? How are they increasing their offer?
Here's the reality: is
Can
No one knows
I
anything.
stop you for just
Yeah,
a second,
please.
Jeremy? What I'd like to do is I'd like to do this Giannis talk, but I'd like to interrupt it occasionally just with Doliak songs without warning. So go ahead and do the Giannis talk, because people do want the Giannis talk, and Zaslow's going officially crazy because Zaslow's son yesterday fired Pat Riley.
He did.
And Mike, you were on that text string with me when a panicked Zaslow saw Minnesota make a small trade and just started shouting into the phone, we're losing him, Minnesota's going to get him, I know it.
They either made the move before the move, which is terrifying, or they did the thing that Miami Heat fans celebrated for 15 years, which is make sure our owner pays less money, please.
Well, I was also shouting it into ESPN because it happened while I was doing Afternoon Drive on ESPN Radio yesterday. And then I also text you guys, I think Minnesota just made the move before the move. And my son, my 17-year-old son, just fired Pat Riley. Because my son doesn't know that my son isn't old enough. He's 17, so he's not old enough to understand everything that Pat Riley did for this organization. All he knows is the last 10 years where the Heat try and do stuff and they don't get it done. So my son wants Pat Riley fired, not stepped down. He wants him to be fired.
Rick Doliak You know that he's not whack. It's Michael Doliak, and he's taking it to the rack. Return of Doliak. I think he played with Shaq. That's Michael Doliak, and he never smokes the crack.
Such a strange fan base, this Heat fan base. You have high tops at Flanagan's high-fiving each other because we moved Bino Udre to get us under the apron.
Zaslow's son firing Pat Riley with a lack of respect is something he should not allow in his household, but Zaslow is having a little bit of difficulty teaching respect to his kids in the household, and this is a place where it should be taught easily. But Mike also is pretty down on Pat Riley and has been for years, and now he's also down on Giannis, okay? Because it's very clear in all of this that Giannis, and this happened to Lillard too, and the Heat caught a break that they didn't actually get Lillard because then he broke. But Giannis clearly does not want to be seen publicly as the bad guy. And this one is super interesting to me as a guy who is a foreigner and has been one of the few foreigners who's allowed to actually cross over and be an American superstar. Like Jokic doesn't even get to be this. Giannis has learned the language and done so much to ingratiate himself to both America and Milwaukee that he's become a transcendent superstar, even though English isn't his first language. That's hard to do. Baseball players have a ton of difficulty doing it. So the quotes attributed to Giannis is, "What do you mean? My father's buried in Milwaukee. My kids have Milwaukee on their passport. I don't want to ever leave Milwaukee." He does not want to look like the bad guy, and you can't do something like this if you're not okay with looking like the bad guy.
I totally agree. The lone exception to what you say is that there was an incident where he booed the home crowd and gave it a thumbs down. But other than that, Milwaukee loves him, and he loves Milwaukee. But he wants to leave, and there's no way to hide that. He wants out. Milwaukee's willing to trade him. Reality comes in. Bucks fans, deal with it. When he comes back in a Heat uniform or what have you, you're going to decide the reaction you give to him. I suspect you're going to cheer him like the hero he was for you, like the champion he was for you. But that's up to the fans. Giannis makes his move. He's entitled to do what he wants for himself, for his family, for his bank account. He's entitled to it all.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, swish. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, swish. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, swish. Throw 'em up till I lose count. I'm gonna pass to Michael Doliak. Michael Doliak. He's gonna shoot like the defense doesn't exist. Like it doesn't exist.
I do agree with Greg. He is entitled to do what he wants. Sports fans are entitled to judge how he's going about this. The guy would rather spend a summer of his prime in Greece than chasing another title with a contender.
What does that mean? What do you mean?
I mean, he'd rather be in Greece than do what is necessary to get himself off of this roster, because the move that the Timberwolves made was with June in mind, not to make a move for him right now. He does not want to be the bad guy, and I think he's overthinking this. He brought a title, was the sole reason Milwaukee got an NBA title. He's going to be a good guy in like 6 months' time.
I think he's going to be a good guy the moment he's traded. I don't get the impression that anyone in Milwaukee is upset with him.
He has given everything to that town. He has been the greatest Milwaukee Buck of all time. Let him move. Let him do the thing that every superstar needs to do on the way out. Because he's not doing those things right now.
Kareem would like a word. I think Kareem would like a word.
Laker.
He gets forgiven. He gets forgotten in a lot of these
That's
situations.
because you're not calling him by the name that he played with.
I believe that Kareem also gets looked past in the conversations about who's the best player ever, because we insist on doing this to someone who's a human size. It's why we like Michael Jordan and Kobe better. Like, if you're 7 feet, we kind of disqualify you from the conversation of whether you can be the best basketball player ever, because we want it to be about will, not physical size.
I thought we don't say that he's the best ever because he's not.
It's cool that we're going to do the same thing with Wemby with him, right? Like, he's going to be the greatest ever on and off the court, like Kareem, and then we're just going to kind of ignore it.
Eyes on the ball.
Okay, so the Giannis thing. Golden State, like you were talking about, can they increase their offer? No. They can't. The conversation around increasing their offer has been Minnesota and Miami, because Minnesota, more likely than not, has just been offering like salary and is trying. I mean, the reports are they're trying to get 4 or 5 teams involved so that they can spread Naz Reid and Julius Randle and Jaden McDaniels all over the league to acquire picks and salary filler to be able to make this move. They will have to do a ton. With the Heat, it's a matter of we've been talking about it. What salary do you want? Do you want to be able to take guys and make those first-round pick trades on your own? And what started this is Golden State, and this has been forever, Golden State's front office talks to the national media more than anyone in basketball. They're constantly talking. They are constantly putting narratives out there. They want you to know what they're doing. And so we've known for a while. They're going to offer all their picks. They're going to offer pick swaps. They're going to offer Podziemski and Kuminga. It was Butler. Now it's Green. We know what that is. Now what do the Heat and Minnesota do to match that? Because you don't negotiate against yourself.
What would you do if I took it to the hoop? Would you stand up and try to block me? Play some defense and I'll back it out. I will try to hit it from the top of the key. Oh, only I could spy with a little help from Ray LaFrance.
Yes.
Oh, that was good.
Zaslow has a running feud with Brian Windhorst. Zaslow's been saying none of these reporters know anything. I do believe that Windy is connected, and I do believe that Windhorst knows things. Windhorst was your first ballot into the Tool Hall of Fame.
Why are you doing this, man?
Is it true or not? Is it? I mean,
he is the inaugural member Tool of the Week Hall of Fame. He was hanging in the rafters. We had a whole ceremony and a banner and everything. Why are you doing this, though? Like
I didn't do it. You're the one who hung the banner in the rafters. You're the one who did that, and then you worked for ESPN. That's not
right.
That's not my fault. You did that.
You're bringing something back up that I had a lot of anxiety and agita over when I got a job at ESPN Radio, and I had to smooth things over, and because of my past actions. Okay, there are consequences, and I had to deal with those consequences, and now we've moved on. I'm in a place with some employees there, like Brian Windhorst, who have been able to get past my past transgressions, and now you're bringing it up again.
Boom, 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 boom. Mike Doliak brings all his boys to the yard, and his game is better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours. He will teach you how to take good charge.
Windy says on Get Up, the Miami Heat are out there talking to other teams, trying to assemble 3-team packages where they can improve the amount of draft picks and young pieces they could offer to Milwaukee. Same for Minnesota, but I think it's a long shot they can come up with that package. And I believe that while Mike Ryan wants what he wants, and will aggressively call Giannis names or tell him that he's doing the wrong thing, I think Mike Ryan and the rest of us underestimate his connection to that city's fan base and how much that audience and that relationship means to him. So here is Giannis talking to the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. And I already told you, like, he's saying, my father's buried here. My kids have this on their passport. This is a man who is thankful for the American dream, okay? This is a man who has gotten something very few foreigners ever get. Jokic is not the star he should be based on his excellence. The reason? He doesn't speak English and give you the personality the way Giannis does. The things have worked out for Giannis better than they do with most foreigners. And so when he says of Milwaukee specifically, not even America, he says, quote, if you ask me what I really want deep down in my heart, I want to be a Milwaukee Buck until I retire and win a championship here. End of sentence. If that is not possible to happen, if then you realize maybe that's not the case and maybe they're looking elsewhere and that's not what they're trying to do, then automatically you have to be in the plans of what they're trying to do or weigh the other options. It's normal. I've created more memories in this city than in my country. Like that sentence right there is easy to dismiss when you want Giannis to come to your city. Like it's super easy to say, what a coward, doesn't want to look like the bad guy, doesn't want to torch the relationship with his city. But I think he's being honest there. I think he wants out and doesn't want it to look like he wants out.
I agree. He does not want it to look like he wants out, but he wants out. And he's been in the league long enough as a superstar to know how these things go. And I'm getting a little frustrated with the Miami Heat targeting these really loyal superstars. They got to make a bigger mess. First Damian Lillard with Portland, and now Milwaukee. Come on, get some dirtbag. Target James Harden once in a while.
They already did with Rozier.
He played with Leitner and backed up Shaq. Was great with rebounds and putbacks. At times the wide is down the floor. She don't play back here, bar no more. Mike Oliak, don't talk about it.
He's in his 30s. He's
31.
He's got an incredible body that has aided his spectacular play. This is not a small thing, him punting on a postseason. It's not. In terms of his legacy, in terms of the achievements, yes, he's made spectacular memories in Milwaukee. That's not to say he can't make memories elsewhere. And he's deciding, I think I'd rather just not make memories this summer and spend my summer at home. And that's, come on. You're being graded against the greats. Dan's comparing you to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Like, come on.
You did that. You said he was the best player in the history of the Bucks.
Because you mentioned the wrong name.
Yeah.
Lou Alcindor was a Milwaukee Buck.
Damn right.
Yeah, that's a fine.
LEW.
Michael, thank you. We'll do it again with you tomorrow.
Yes.
Tomorrow?
These superstars have egos. They want to be talked about as the greatest. Giannis wants to leave a legacy in which he is remembered as one of the GOATs of all time. And to opt out of a postseason because you don't want to make a divorce look uglier, a divorce that you will be forgiven for literally 6 months from now. Like your next time in Milwaukee, you're going to get cheered. I have a hard time wrapping my head around that. We know how this goes. The NBA fan and the American sports fan is conditioned for this. Just do the thing.
I know the Heat like to keep everything in-house. They don't have leaks. They don't want the media to know what they have going on, negotiations and all that. But see other teams, like Minnesota potentially made the move before the move. Golden State has Draymond Green last night talking about how he's about to be traded.
Let's get that sound before you continue with this point. You continue the point after we play the Draymond sound of him being, a little bit wounded by the business of this because he's a champion and he kind of wants the deal LeBron has where LeBron is saying he doesn't expect to be traded. And when LeBron says that, it means because he knows it, because they can't trade him unless he says they can trade him because there are so few no trade clauses. But if anyone's earned one, it would be someone like Draymond. But that's not the way this business works, because when Mike Ryan says sports fans are conditioned to guys doing the thing, you guys all killed James Harden yesterday with a real amount of poison because you don't like it when these guys do the thing. So let's listen to Draymond here saying, I've kind of done some things for this city. I'd like to stay here.
Steve said he's had a chat with you about
That's when it got real for me.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I should be a little more worried about this than I am. I didn't get worried about it, but I was like, okay. Yeah. It's interesting. He was like, how you doing? I'm good, coach. I know all these trade rumors and stuff. It's like, it's weird. It's like, yeah, it's crazy. And then he's like, how's Hazel handling it? And that's when it got real to me. I was like, I haven't spoke to her about it. It's not something we've spoke about. That's when it got real to me. So today on the way to the game, I spoke to my son about it. And I was like, what if I get traded? It's like, well, why would they trade you? It's like, it's just the business. I have never been traded, but it can happen to anybody. And he was like, I just don't understand why they would do that. So.
What are your thoughts when we talk about just the business here, Cody? Because I thought yesterday, as Zaz and Mike Ryan and a whole lot of people are killing James Harden before the trade, what I thought was most interesting in the middle of that is Kawhi Leonard, who never says anything about anything, says, that guy's forever my boy. And even if that guy leaves his side and he can't do it anymore with the Clippers, he's not hurt by it. He understands more than most how it's a business. You know why? Because Kawhi, I'm positive, is hurt by everything that happened in San Antonio. And then he goes to Toronto, another country, wins the championship, and he knows these people don't care about you. You have to get yours, not these. When I say these people, I mean the fans, I mean ownership, I mean they only care about you in direct proportion to how much you help them. It's not a real relationship that is loving and conditional. It's the most conditional relationship there can possibly be. And Kawhi is sitting here saying, as the knower of the business, because I'm positive he was hurt by everything that happened in San Antonio. My guess is he would love to still be in San Antonio. Everything would be fine if playing with Wemby, if there hadn't been a mess with the doctors. And so Kawhi loses his running mate. He doesn't want Darius Garland. Loses the guy that he can actually play well with, and then he says, no problem, it's business. He understands it. We don't. Like, he gets it. He forgives James Harden. This is a business partner of his. He's like, that's always going to be my boy. He's got no problem with James Harden leaving. We do.
I mean, if you don't get it by now with James Harden, like, when are you going to get it? He does this every time. He knows who he married. I don't understand caping up for James Harden at all. He chose this life. I don't get it.
I'm just telling you, Kawhi did. You don't.
Kawhi knows exactly.
But Kawhi's got more involved in that investment than you do, and he seems to be less hurt by it than you are.
I'm not hurt at all by it. James Harden picked this, and the consequences of James Harden picking this type of career is that we get to highlight the lowlights.
Well, and I would say he doesn't care as much as we do about it because he has been resigned to the fact for a while now that the business part of it, the money part of it, is a lot more important to him than the actual winning part of it. It's not like James Harden decided to leave at the end of the season. He literally quit on them. They've won 15 out of 18 games. Said, I'm out. Okay. And, like, Kawhi's okay with it.
Evidently. It does come from jealousy. If anybody had that kind of talent, I think we'd care more.
Well, so here's the thing, though. Here's the thing about caring that I find funny. Jeremy, can you look this up for me? Because I know James Harden was an MVP, but I don't know how many times he finished like runner-up or top 5. Can you give me just how close James Harden has come various times to winning the MVP of the league? The reputation James Harden has is he doesn't care enough. It's not humanly possible for any athlete who has ever played to be that good and not care enough about basketball. There's nobody who rolls out of the crib, doesn't care, and is just supernaturally gifted at basketball. Kevin Durant, you can say he doesn't care. He cares. He cares more than you. James Harden, you can say he doesn't care. He cares. You can't be that excellent. It's not possible. Not humanly possible to be runner-up for MVP. No one's ever done it. No one ever will unless you take care of your body and do all the things that you have to do. That he won MVP because they had the best record in the league, and the average times that he finished runner-up or top 5.
So he finished for 8 straight seasons in the top 10. That was every single year that he was in Houston. So he won 6th Man of the Year in his 3rd season. That was his final year at OKC. Then he finished 8th, 5th, 2nd, 9th, 2nd, won the MVP, 2nd, 3rd, and in the year he was traded from Houston to Brooklyn, he finished 13th. So he finished top 13 in 9 straight seasons. Oh, and by the way, top 10 last year.
That's the damage to the legacy of what it is that he's done. People think he doesn't care when it's not possible that he doesn't care.
No, I think it's entirely possible that he doesn't care enough. Like, okay, you want to make the easy argument that he cares? Yeah, he's excellent at his job. He's made $500 million. He clearly cares about putting the ball through the hoop. But there are other factors. He very clearly, on the spectrum of caring, he is on the low end. And it's pretty evident to everybody. This was a year ago, and this went viral a year ago. It was a Mavs studio host talking about James Harden now going to the Clippers, and he calls the future in this one clip. It nails his career note for note.
Ask the producer to pipe this into the Clippers locker room. If I can talk to you, James, I hope you're taking notes. I'm telling you in advance, you're welcome for the wisdom I'm about to spew. Because, listen, I get on my knees every night and pray for someone to believe in me like Daryl Morey believed in you. You wanted a certain coach, they brought in Mike D'Antoni. You want to play a certain style, they played it. You wanted Dwight Howard, they brought him in and got rid of him when you were tired of him. You wanted Chris Paul, they brought him in and got rid of him when you were tired of him. They brought in your old friend Russell Westbrook. You want to go to Vegas on off days? They looked away. You wanted the team to stay over so you could go out at night. They changed the schedule, and it didn't work. And you know what? You said, I'm going to break up with my whoopee. Not good enough. I see the bright lights in New York. I want to go there. My old pal, Kevin Durant. It's going to work. The big three. And all after 1 year, you wanted out. You realized, oh, my gosh, I took this guy for granted, the guy that believed in me. I went back with Daryl Morey. They traded Ben Simmons for you. How did they pull that off? And you know what? You went there, and you got a partner who got the MVP. He won the MVP. And what did you say afterwards? You said, they didn't hand me the reins. You're the point guard. You were holding the reins. And what did you do when you had the reins? You scored 9 points in Game 7 against Boston. You blew a 3-2 series lead. So they fired their coach. Not good enough. You broke up with your guy, believed in you again. You said, the bright lights of L.A., that's where I want to go. Let's see if that works. Listen, James, have you ever had those friends who had bad roommates? Over and over, they complained about their bad roommates. This guy's terrible, the bad roommate here. They never thought to be self-aware enough that they're the bad roommate. They're the problem. Hey, James, you're the problem. If this doesn't work this year in this system with this team, then you're going to go and point fingers at everybody else, and you're going to go back home and you're going to start swiping right for another team, and there's not going to be anybody left. Because, James, you're not the beard, you're not the system, you're the problem.
Heard that mic drop there.
It was great, and he keeps swiping right, and he's going to get his money, and he always does, and it's because he's excellent. And
he's excellent.
Like
the one thing he's wrong is that there wouldn't. He said there wouldn't be another team waiting, and there was.
Well, it's Cleveland.
I think that clip's embarrassing. I really do. The guy's doing an editorial on a player who plays for another team. It's a Mavericks broadcast. I don't know, like he's right about everything he said, but like I think it's embarrassing.
It's just the most negative angle, though. I mean, when I look at James Harden, I see an all-time great whose legacy is bulletproof at this point. He's just
no. His legacy's not bulletproof.
All-time great scorer.
It came off Teflon there, where an unprecedented studio host is doing an editorial just to take him out.
Greg, so ridiculous.
Greg, his like the part about this that's fascinating to me is the fact that you really have to work through all of the places where fans and media get most upset at athletes to undermine what should be this excellent of a legacy. Top 13 MVP, 13 straight years, changed the entirety of the game. If Trevor Ariza makes 5 threes in a game, he'd be a champion. I mean, like this, you really have. It's hard.
He wouldn't be a champion. He'd make it to the NBA Finals and probably lose there because that's what he does. He doesn't win a championship. I have no idea what that dude's name is, and neither does the majority of our audience. I'd say 99% of our audience was nodding in agreement. This dude is cooking. I don't care enough to look up his name, but he is dead on about James Harden. It is not a Teflon reputation whatsoever. He is a cautionary tale of, yeah, you can chase the money. Yeah, you can be like it's everybody else's fault. You can demand the trades. You can make it an ugly scene. But at the end of the day, that is going to be your legacy. He didn't win a single title to erase that from his legacy. And I guess if he's even just a rotational player and wins a title, people won't even remember that because they'll remember the 15 years in which he did this every 2.5 seasons.
Well, this is the curse of every great athlete who didn't win a championship. If James Harden won one championship along the way, 8 years ago or what have you, we're all talking about him and looking at him in a whole different light. I don't obsess over the lack of a championship with any great athlete. I look at them for what they are. He's a guy who chases money, who's never satisfied with a team. That's him.
Respectfully.
He's still a great player, an all-time great, in my opinion.
Greg, respectfully, though, like there are plenty of great players that don't have a ring. Charles Barkley doesn't get hit with. You didn't care enough. You didn't maximize your talent. You made a mess.
And he didn't come up smallest in the biggest moments.
Yeah, like there's so many famous players in that league that didn't win a championship that it's not held against them the way that it is with James Harden because the talent is there. The resume is there. Clearly, like the professionalism was lacking.
I know, please forgive me because I tend to mix up teams sometimes when I'm looking back. But the James Harden team that lost at home in Game 7 to Golden State because they went 7 of 44 from 3, that was the Kevin Durant Warriors, correct? Like that, was that not the...
I thought it was a 73-win Warriors.
Oh, was it really? So
I think so.
Okay, so it was the 73-win Warriors?
Cooper Flagg is not a point guard. Y'all look the damn same, Jake LaRavia and Austin Reeves. Hold on one second. Are you here at noon? Give me just 1 second.
Trista, ladies and gentlemen.
Whoop, whoop.
Welcome back to the alley. Ooh, take the direction that way.
Little tree with all easy.
If you have a friend out there that needs to come home, don't let them go out of the house like this.
Boy, stop. Mila Kunis is a little methy.
I'm not understanding the rules of this.
If it was destigmatized, Juju would be on the steroid right now.
I'm challenge flag that.
I don't like turkey.
Oh, alert, flag. 15 yards.
I allied, he ooped. He allied, I ooped. Juju, we'll have to, I look forward to this every single week.
www.alleyoopshow.com.
Greetings to all. Welcome to 2022. Omicron is on the run, and away it went. But oops, there goes gravity, and here comes a new variant. Omaha, Corona, Hut 1, Hut 2, nothing infects the Super Bowl, and nothing stops football.
Racism, greed, trauma to brain and spine. And yet, I cannot look away. Heroes are dead. Science has their heads. Oh, is there no escape from here? I need to know. It eats my soul. Nothing stops the NFL. Is this heaven or hell? cockfighting, CTE prayer circles. They blackballed the blackballer. They tried to end racism by stenciling it in the end zone. Billionaire boys using millionaires as toys. It's all immoral, all unethical. Ooh, the witching hour. Nothing stops the NFL. Is this heaven or hell? I can't tell.
The conversation around Giannis and the trade packages for him feels entirely corrupt. The national NBA media is spewing out of both sides of their mouth, and they're trying to manipulate the public opinion for their own benefit. The obvious best offer comes from Miami. It's built around a 25-year-old all-star guard, a 21-year-old and 7-foot-tall do-it-all freak of nature in Khalil Ware, has several picks, including available pick options that the national media conveniently leaves out. But that doesn't fit what would be easiest for the national media. Sure, they might want to come to Miami for a vacation more than Minnesota, but their laziness makes it easier to say, oh, here's Giannis and Steph, and oh, here's Giannis and Anthony Edwards. They're forcing their narratives without even including the team with the clearly best offer, and they're doing it specifically because Pat Riley and the Miami Heat know that real G's move in silence like lasagna. So they don't share their plans. They don't share their plans with anyone in the national media, and makes the media's job more difficult. The national NBA media is trying to commit a heist on behalf of the league to manufacture the sexiest storylines. It's obvious, and they're willing to do it to the detriment of one of the league's best ever organizations because of leftover jealousy over the Big Three era in Miami. The league.
How's this going? Not the best angle. We pick up the lower third.
How do we not have better angles around here? Why is it that you would not be moving
Taller
that
cameras?
up for me?
Right.
Why?
It's a camera.
So now this is going to get aggregated, and this is going to get aggregated
That's
in my
better,
voice.
actually.
Yeah, but why didn't we do that before?
Very flattering, the other one.
I didn't even see the angle. If I saw the angle, you think I would have gone with this stupid idea?
Take two.
I saw the angle early on.
Let's do it again. I'm going to do the whole
Zoomed
thing
in.
again. That's it.
There were some really good points you made,
Get
Dan.
a flat.
Super close up.
This is too wordy, Jeremy. It's clear you wrote it. It's wildly inefficient.
I don't know what you're talking about. These are all your takes, and everyone should take them very seriously because your voice matters, Dan.
Let me do it again. That's the one that's the one that people are going to pick up on. The one that has the lower half of my body looking like Charlie Weiss. Like the bottom half of my body is sewn on backwards. You know what? I'm not doing this again.
Good decision there.
Okay, social media team, clip that and make sure it gets aggregated. Use the quote at the end that it's about the jealousy of the Big Three era, signed Dan Le Batard.
And crop it.
Welcome back, Dan.
Let me remind people that this episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
I think it worked. Didn't expect to have so many opinions on James Harden. Didn't expect him to be a trigger for me. I apologize. Hey, the Cavs play the Clippers tonight.
Is it tonight?
I think so.
That's awesome.
That's the next
Well,
game.
there's new information on James Harden, too, so I'm not even sure we're being fair to him. This happens sometimes, right? Bill Polian's kid did this last week where he's like, man, you guys are being really unfair to my father on something that's not true because we need to find somebody to blame for dumb shit. So what's happening here with James Harden? And I should point out that Zaz got this wrong, and he will suffer a penalty in a moment for getting it wrong. It was not the 73-win Warriors that the Rockets beat in Game 7 when going 7-4, 44 from 3, or lost to. It was the Warriors that went 58-24 in that 2018 season. So that, but is that Durant?
They swept the Cavs.
Yeah, that's Durant.
Okay.
It was LeBron's last year.
How did that
with
team
the,
go
Cleveland
58-24?
They must have had injuries in the regular season.
It was really easy for them to play basketball, so they didn't care about some regular season games.
So what's here? What's the latest reporting on Ramona Shelburne? And I need to remind people as well, tomorrow we're going to be doing a live stream as the trade deadline approaches. We're going to go and be on live for a couple of hours after our show and have some fun with all the trade deadline stuff. If you want to hang out with us, that should be some fun. But what's Ramona Shelburne reporting? And what are you apologizing for, Mike? Like what? He's a trigger. Of course he's a trigger. Sports fans are always going to get bothered when the athlete chooses the money. Like it's their business, not our business, and it becomes our business when we get hurt by these guys behaving in a way that chooses money over us.
I don't know. Maybe I've stayed on it too long. I typically don't display that kind of passion. It's just weird. I feel like I'm speaking for the vast majority of sports fans.
It's not weird for you as a sports fan to be offended with not just a player choosing the money. Fine. Like, if you're any kind of grown-up, you understand a player choosing money, okay? Let's not be babies here. But you're upset because it's a player mid-season who multiple times quits in the middle of the season. That's the offensive part to
But
fans.
did he indeed quit here? Like, what's being reported? We'll get to this in a second. What do you have, Cody?
Look, I think fans understand the business side more than we give them credit for. You know, in our own lives, if we work for a company and we have a chance to go to another company to make more money, most of us are going to do it. Nobody left the city uglier in recent NBA history than Jimmy Butler left Miami. When he comes back to Miami, I thought he might be vilified and booed. It was by far mostly cheering. I think fans remember what good the athlete did, what good he brought to the city.
Jeremy says it was 50-50. You said by far cheers.
Okay, you think it was 50-50?
Yes.
Okay.
Cody, I think Heat fans now hate Jimmy Butler. Like
a certain segment of them.
What about the ones that cheered him, though?
Some hate the front office.
They don't hate him.
I wasn't too mad about Jimmy Butler. I know I've said some things in character, but as we were going through the entire thing, I'd be like, I'll cheer Jimmy Butler. He gave him some good years, and at the end of it, he just became Jimmy Butler. I thought how that all went down, the franchise shouldered most of the blame because it was super predictable how it was going to go, and they thought they could control the situation.
Right. So Ramona Shelburne last night, she tweets out, I'll read you these here, all right? Just spoke to a reflective James Harden who denied asking for a trade and thankful the Clippers for the opportunity to play the last 2.5 years in his hometown. Quote, in life, not even just basketball, when things don't work out, there are ways to end things in relationships without having to crack each other. Maybe we just don't see a future with each other. Maybe we just outgrew each other, whatever the case may be. I feel like the other situations weren't like that, and that's why I can respect Steve and L, that's Lawrence Frank, and T. Lou, because they didn't put me in a weird position as much as everybody tried to make it like that. Harden went on and said, quote, he didn't want to feel like I was holding the Clippers up in their future. I wanted them to actually have a chance to rebuild and get some draft capital, even though they didn't get any draft capital in return. In Cleveland, I see an opportunity to win in the East. That's a very good team, coaching staff, all the above. So as much as I wanted to stay in LA and give it a go, I've never won before. As a basketball mind, I think we have a better chance, end quote. So you're telling me that in the middle of the Clippers playing the best basketball in the league, they've won 15 out of 18 games. They are finally in the playoff picture. The Clippers woke up one morning and said, let's trade James Harden and blow it up?
No, I think the Clippers are under a unusual amount of duress that no one understands because of Pablo Torre's reporting, and they have to be in hiding, and that whole thing has come undone because Kawhi Leonard made the business decision he did after everything that happened in San Antonio and Toronto, where he's like, we really shouldn't have a salary cap, should we? I'll take money wherever it is that I can get it because all these people are in it for themselves, and me and Ballmer don't have to listen to anybody's rules. And I think people don't understand what's coming with that stuff. Like, people think that you can hide and that there's going to be no consequences to Ballmer. No way are those owners going to turn away when one of the other owners came in and said, when the richest of the owners, you think these basketball players have egos? You think these basketball players have egos? These billionaires, you think they're going to be okay with Ballmer saying, I don't care about your rules. Like, yeah, I know this whole thing is important to you guys, but this is a small business for me. I want to come in here and win in the playground. I'm going to cheat with Uncle Dennis and Kawhi. Allegedly. Thank you. It's important.
And it's important to note that Mark Cuban caped up pretty hard for old Steve.
That's Mark Cuban, and I don't know what he's doing or why he did it, but I have talked to other owners. They're not okay with Steve Ballmer already having a bigger bank account than all of them, and then coming over and saying, I don't actually have to respect any of your rules. I'm going to make a side deal over here. The ones who cape up for Ballmer, if you hear any of the others do publicly, it's because they don't want Pablo sniffing around what they might be doing inside transactions, because it's crazy to think what's happened there and how complicated it is, and it's not over. The reporting on it is not over. The information that we still don't have that we're going to get is not over, and we're going to look back and say, oh, that's where it fell apart. This organization didn't actually know how to handle an unprecedented scandal, and it broke apart in there. It was already an old team, and Kawhi kind of fouled it up because of whatever it is the business did to him, where he's like, I don't have to respect the rules of your business. What are the consequences really if I allegedly grab a whole bunch of money on the side? The thing that happens around the money, and I know that people think that money's a panacea, but it's often a poison disguised as a panacea. These guys, all of them, are most interested in the money. They just happen to make it through the playground. And it doesn't matter how much of the money you give them. It's a contaminant. And so when you salary cap it, and Kawhi's allowed to grab a bunch of stuff on the side, and James Harden gets yelled at by every media member when he tries to grab at the money, these quotes from James Harden are the first time I've found him interesting on anything. This guy has been famous for a long time. He has not been publicly introspective. His reputation for a long time has been, prefers strip clubs and the party life to whatever it is basketball is, and it's harmed him. Like, I've rarely seen a player of this kind of excellence whose reputation is going to be, didn't care enough and also was small in all the biggest moments. Like, that reputation's hard to get my head around, because I've rarely seen anybody who's this kind of good who, if he'd won, listen to what you guys are saying. If he'd won because Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook got a call against a Heat team that was more ready than they were because they'd suffered a little bit more when all of them were 23, we'd be giving James Harden credit for something that he didn't even do.
That was not a foul. That was good defense by Shane.
Yeah, they lost in 5.
It's not a foul.
And we were in town around that NBA Finals. There were loads of stories about what James Harden was doing in terms of game prep.
If they'd won that title, if OKC had somehow beaten the Miami Heat, or if when James Harden, was he a rookie? He was a rookie. He was
third year.
He was a sixth man, though, right?
Yeah.
He was coming off the bench for that team.
Yeah, San Antonio had no answers for him.
We'd look at the entire career of James Harden differently because he got one championship.
Yes.
And then if they win that Game 7 against the Warriors and win the title that year by winning the next round too, he'd have 2 championships.
Yeah, but don't you think that all set the table for what was then a disappointing career? Because he made it to the NBA Finals early in his career. There were 3 tremendous players. Everyone knew James Harden was good enough to be a superstar that could carry a team. And everybody assumed he'd be making it to the NBA Finals, not regularly, but plenty more times, and it never happened.
Do you believe him here, though? Because does it change the narrative at all if he's saying, quote, I didn't want to feel like I was holding the Clippers up in their future? He's saying he did not demand a trade.
I'm inclined to believe him. I've never heard James Harden really speak that way, ever. It seems reflective, and Ramona says she caught up with James Harden, so I don't think that's a statement. It reads like a statement.
Let's read it again. This is him talking to Ramona. In life, not even just basketball, when things don't work out, there are ways to end things in relationships without having to crack each other. This is him learning, by the way.
This is oddly introspective for a dude that wore a Blue Lives Matter scarf inside the bubble.
Maybe we don't see a future with each other. Maybe we just outgrew each other, whatever the case may be. I feel like other situations weren't like that, and that's why I can respect Steve Ballmer and L and T. Lou, Lawrence Frank, because they didn't put me in a weird position as much as everyone tried to make it like that. I believe him. I don't have any reason to not believe him.
Yeah, I read it a little bit differently. I think what he's saying there is true, but the respect those guys for not putting me in a weird position, it didn't become combative. It didn't become nasty in the media. He didn't want the money. He didn't want to stay there because they wouldn't extend him. And they were like, okay, let's find a trade that works for both of us. And no one slung mud at each other. Like, that to me is what that says.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing at me?
It sounds like he's got gratitude for this one not being ugly. Like, oh, I get what I want and I don't have to cause the scene.
That's
Thank
how
you.
I see it.
Yeah, last time he, with Daryl Morey, he went to China and told a group of kids Daryl Morey is a bleeping liar. That's what it took from there. So the fact that he gets to go to the Clippers and say, like, hey, let's just work this out quietly right before the deadline, there is gratitude there because he didn't have to do that.
That's what you do, Giannis. You call your GM a bleeping liar. That's how you do it.
In front of Chinese kids.
In front of kids.
Tony is out in the field for his top 5 as we segue into football with Super Bowl week. Katie Nolan going to be on with us later. Mad Dog Russo is going to be on with us later.
Yes.
It's a surprise. I do not know where Tony is. He likes to surprise us with his reports from locales in the wilderness of Miami. Where are you, Tony?
Hey, Dano, good morning. I'm at a very secretive location, as you can see. Danny, see if you can pan around here. We're in some place that is almost, you can't even get here. Dan, we are at the old Crandon Park Zoo on Key Biscayne. I wanted to save something very cool that we had to kind of hike to for one of my last hits of the year. So we've got this one, and then obviously we've got the post-Super Bowl one. But I wanted to do it here. This is one of the last standing structures of the Key Biscayne Zoo that operated from 1948 to 1980 before they moved over out west and became Zoo Miami. A lot of rescued circus animals started the Key Biscayne Zoo, the Crandon Park Zoo. Dan, did you come as a JIT to the Crandon Park Zoo?
Did you go as a JIT?
Not as a JIT.
You know about those JITs?
Too legit to quit.
Did you not? Did you not come to the Crandon Park Zoo?
No, I never went to the Crandon Park Zoo. That is not a place that I have been. So
Okay.
But this is you're on a bit of a haunted burial ground, right? There are a lot of animals still there. Or there's still a lot of animals wandering around, even though there's not a real home there anymore.
There is a lot of avian animals still around. We have some B-roll of some stuff that's going to appear somewhere here. We got some peacocks. I was looking for a seahawk, but I don't think seahawks live in South Florida, Dan. So I was looking if we found a lot of other birds. But no Seahawks.
How close
So
are you to a
there's
highway?
actually-
Why is it that everywhere you go in Miami,
Yeah.
there's the ambient sound of a nearby highway?
Of cars. Yeah. Okay. So obviously you've been to Key Biscayne, Dan. I'd figure to say yes, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you know how there's basically 2 lanes, one that goes south and one that goes north. We are maybe 35 feet from the northbound lane here in Key Biscayne. So that's why you hear the cars passing by. There's a big fence and a bunch of matojo over here to kind of shield people from getting over. But on the other side, there's actually a bridge that would connect to the other pieces of Crandon Park Zoo, which is right here. We actually can't go through to that bridge, even though I wanted to. They told me it may fall if I walk on it, so I'm probably not going to do that.
Okay. All right. Let's do a.
Yeah, it's a little scary.
Let's do a top 5. What was that
So
sound?
what we're going to do, I'm going to take you in here, though. I don't know what that was, but I'm going to take you in here. So this is one of the last structures that they have at Crandon Park Zoo. As you can tell, full of graffiti, but very cool. Oh, is that a Seahawk?
Oh, that is
So
cool.
yeah, so
Look
we're
at
gonna do.
that.
We're
That
gonna
is
do.
cool.
Yeah. Here we go. So something that you don't usually see, a freestanding building full of graffiti on Key Biscayne, because obviously, if you know anything about Key Biscayne, it is a very wealthy place. So
Yes.
this is.
It doesn't. It doesn't look like it
piece.
from. Yeah. So for those of you who do not know, Key Biscayne is wonderful, beautiful, and lovely. Tony has decided to go to a place that is none of those things.
I mean, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, Dan.
Let's do your top 5 here. Do you have any OLI? One of the last of the season, we should say. It's not one of the last of the year because it's February, and so the year's got a lot of days left. But it is your last hit of the football season. So what a strange animal noise you're putting in there. Go ahead, Tony, and start. Do you have any OLI?
No OLI, but this is the second to last of the season. Obviously, we'll have one right after the Super Bowl. This one, Dan, is Super Bowl predictions, things that are going to happen in the Super Bowl from my predictive standpoint. So that's what we're doing right now. No OLI, just 5 right off the rip. All right, here we go. Number 5, there's going to be a defensive or special teams touchdown in the Super Bowl. Defensive or special teams touchdown. And again,
really?
Yeah, you can use these as gambling advice if you'd like. This is what I feel about what's going on. I like the Patriots special teams. I obviously very much like the Seattle Seahawks defense. I feel like there's going to be a score somewhere in there. Whoa. All right, number 4. Jackson Smith-Njigba goes for 150 yards and a score. You can lock that one in. Seems just on par with what he's done the entire season.
Chris, I'm pretty sure your animal sounds have someone talking underneath them. You haven't vetted your animal sounds, so there's an AI human voice talking underneath your animal sounds. I already asked you once to play those less. How about you stop playing them at all? Chris, I'm pretty sure your animal sounds have...
All right, so number 3, and we're going to get to the halftime show here. Bad Bunny starts the halftime show with Nueva York. Okay, that's the song. People that have been trying to figure out what the first song that Bad Bunny's going to play, it's going to be Nueva York. I'm letting you know now. So when it does happen, you already know where you heard it from. Dan, you feel good about that?
I do. He's never wrong. He's just early. He's Tony. Number 2.
Thank you, buddy. Both QBs will throw an interception. Both QBs to throw an interception, which I love that one. Both QBs when pressured.
We heard you the first 2 times. You expect both of them to throw an interception. We heard you.
Okay. My bad. The reception's spotty here. If you can't tell, I'm in the wilderness. If you can give me a little bit of grace on that,
yes,
Dan, please.
Okay. I'm sorry. I was too hard on you.
Okay,
You're right.
Thank you. It's okay. Number 1. Even though Mike Vrabel is going to be a coward on 4th down at least one time in the game. It's going to happen. It's going to be 4th and short. He's going to punt, and it's going to drive me crazy. Even though that is going to happen, the Pats are going to win on a last-second drive by Drake May. They're going to win 27-24. Okay, they're going to be down 24-20. Drake May's going to go down, score a touchdown at the final seconds of the game, and win despite Mike Vrabel being a coward on 4th down at some point in the game, Dan. So that's what's going to happen.
I do not hear a lot of people saying that. I don't know how many people are picking the Patriots. Thank you, Tony. Appreciate all your reports. Appreciate how you get into scenic Miami, into creative, clever, and different places. Thank you for showing us a part of Miami that I had not seen before. It is an interesting vantage point you have chosen. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So, Greg, what he says there, okay, the Patriots have stuck as a 4.5-point underdog, and Drake May is great at the deep ball, better than anyone in the league. He has been great against the blitz, better than just about anyone in the league. He has been better running the football than any quarterback other than Josh Allen. However, everyone has forgotten that, at least in part because the last 2 games he has played defenses that I think are better equipped to slow him than this one, which is said to be the number 1 defense in the league. I thought that Denver and Houston had the specific things that could slow Stephon Diggs and others that Seattle doesn't have. I don't regard, you guys help me with, because I know what the numbers say. The numbers say Seattle is the best defense in the league. I think Denver and Houston were the single worst matchups that Drake May could have seen, that there were not worse ones anywhere in the league. I think he should fear Seattle less than those 2, but Seattle is the best defense in the league.
And, Greg, it's the first time that he's faced one of these elite defenses with the benefit, at least recently, of good weather. That's another layer to the numbers that he's put up. Not just 2 of the top 3 defenses in the league, but in terrible weather games.
Right. I'm surprised the line hasn't crept down a little bit. I love the Pats getting 4.5. I think the Patriots are going to win outright. I predicted it in my own podcast, and I'm going to predict it in the Herald tomorrow and explain why. But what I think is, look, the reason New England beat Houston in the playoffs is that New England's defense outplayed Houston's defense. I don't think that's accurate. I think that C.J. Stroud was terrible in that game, and Drake May just didn't make the giant mistakes that C.J. Stroud was making. I didn't think that was because of New England. I think that was because C.J. Stroud in the playoffs had 2 giant turnover games. I think part of that, though, was the Patriots' defense, which I think is really, really underrated. I think New England's defense is on a par with Seattle's, and I think Drake May is better than Sam Darnold. I think Darnold's going to revert to his tendency and have a couple of turnovers. I just think New England is really being underrated going into this game, and maybe that Seattle's being a little bit overrated.
So here's where we are on the Patriots, right? They've gotten lucky in some spots. They've had an easy schedule. They have withstood somehow the fact that the right side of their offensive line is injured and can't block. Like they've somehow withstood that. The point that you guys are making about the weather is a good one. We have not been reminded of how good this quarterback actually is during these playoffs because of the defenses he's playing against. But the reason I underregard the metrics that say that Seattle's defense is indeed great is because I saw the last 2 Rams games against them. Like, they didn't look like a great defense. They didn't, never mind the number 1 defense in the league, they didn't look like a good defense because of how Matt Stafford and Puka Nacua made them look. So while you have the stat that the last month of the season, the Seattle defense did not allow a single play of over 20 yards. But both times around that they faced a quarterback like this one, they allowed the Rams to run all over the field. The Seahawks did not win those games because of their defense. They won the first one because of special teams and because their coach went for a 2-point conversion. And they won the second one because Sam Darnold torched a Rams defense that over the last 9 games of the seasons had allowed scoring drives on 40% of their drives.
Well, so a couple things. You know, that great Seattle defense going up against the Rams and Matthew Stafford, who's probably going to win the MVP. I don't think there's any shame in the MVP of the league having a good game.
And the number 1 offense in the league.
Yeah, I don't think there's any shame in that having a good game against a great defense.
They're division opponents. They're well familiar, and that's Sean McVay we're talking about.
And the second part that I would add also, I think it's in his 3 years as head coach of the Seahawks, McDonald, lowercase d, Greg, all right? Quarterbacks who are 24 years old or younger are like terrible against that defense.
But most of the quarterbacks who are 24 and younger are terrible. Very few of them are as good as this one. What Seattle does, okay? Can you look up for me the last time Seattle allowed a 100-yard rusher? Because Drake May's going to have to win this football game. It's not going to get won by them running the football or because they're doing a whole bunch of play action because Seattle fears the run. I think Seattle's got the longest stretch in the league by a good amount of not allowing a 100-yard rusher. The Patriots are just not going to be I can't imagine the Patriots are going to be able to run the football. Seattle's the number 1 defense in the league because you cannot run against them. Nobody can run against Seattle, and the Rams don't have to, right? The Rams ran some against Seattle, but the way the Rams are going to beat you is because the quarterback is going to act like the MVP.
When I say that we may be seeing the beginning of Patriots Dynasty 2.0, it's because of Drake May. He's 23 years old. He's going to finish second behind Stafford in the MVP vote. I think he's that good. I'm not comparing to Brady. That's 5 years from now that you even dare do that. But I think Drake May is that good right now.
It's 20 years from now that you do that with Tom Brady. Don't insult Tom Brady by comparing anybody to him. But
okay, 5 years from now, if he's won 2 Super Bowls, people are going to be comparing.
That's fine. They can, and he still will not be halfway to how many Super Bowls Tom Brady has won.
He won't be a third of the way.
If
he wins 3 in the next 5 years.
The thing, though, about Drake May, I'm going to say it again because I think Greg is right when he says a lot of people, myself included, have underregarded the Patriots. The 3 things he has that a quarterback must have, better at the deep ball than anyone in the league. Seattle's very good at explosive plays. Seattle has a ton of explosive offense because smith-njigba is amazing. The three things that I want my quarterback to have, never mind against a great defense, period. Better at the long ball than anybody. Better against the blitz than just about anybody. And then as an added bonus, can run better at the position than anyone but Josh Allen. That presents a set of problems to the Seattle defense that Stafford did not, because he couldn't run. Couldn't go anywhere. Stunned me when he converted a 4th and 1, and Tom Brady's shouting, "Oh my God!" And I'm telling you, I would have been less surprised if my coffee table had gotten up and run and gained 3 yards. When Stafford ran for 2 yards, I was like, "That's crazy." I do believe that the way Drake May has beaten teams all year is the way that Patrick Mahomes would. Remember all those 3rd and 7 plays where Patrick Mahomes would run 8 yards? Drake May took that from him this year. Drake May was doing a ton of that where he was bailing that offense out when it failed 2 times and bailing them out when a 3rd play was failing on a drive because he's just running for 8 yards on 3rd and 7.
To your point on their defense, they did not allow a single 100-yard rusher all season.
It's longer than that. I think it's been more than 2 seasons almost, hasn't it?
Well, sure. I thought we were doing sort of the defense isn't transferable from one year to the next.
Why didn't you also look up last year?
Because I was trying to find the stat to get to you guys. So there were only 3 players to rush for over 80 individually. They were Jonathan Taylor, Bijan Robinson, and Kyron Williams. They had 7 games this season where the total rushing yards for the opponent was even over 100 yards. And in several of those, it was through the example that you're talking about, where it was like Washington and Jaden Daniels was running in one of the games he was healthy. So it takes the quarterback being able to scramble to do anything against it. I will go find the last time they allowed a 100-yard rusher.
I just feel like if it extends into the previous season or even the season before that, I'd like to know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know.
Sam Darnold does run some, and I think the streak, I don't know if it goes into the 20s, but it dates back to last season.
25 games.
The thing, though, that is most interesting to me about all of the scheming, all of the planning. McDonald's obviously a great coach. Vrabel is a great coach. If the Patriots are going to win, to me, in my mind, there's only one way that it happens, and it's when plays break down. And it doesn't have anything to do with planning, and it doesn't have anything to do with how you've game planned, and it doesn't have anything to do with preparation or will or anything else. It's just Drake May's in a panic, and he busted everything open, and it not only allows him to run for 50 yards a game, it also allows him to throw that deep ball while rolling around in the pocket because he's bought extra time against the defense that Stafford cannot buy against that defense.
And that dude is entirely capable. The first time I saw Drake May in person was at Hard Rock Stadium. I'm like, this kid is outrageous. The second time I saw him in person was at Chapel Hill, and I saw a Miami defense perfectly execute its game plan against some nuke plays at the line of scrimmage, and it wasn't enough. He'd either throw a bomb downfield that with pinpoint accuracy, or he'd call his own number and be Superman. This guy is entirely possible of saying, I'm going to put the team on my shoulders today and getting it done against a good defense.
The way that Cody describes this, though, and this is the thing that I would fear if I were a Seattle fan, okay? Because I'm going to keep banging it home on this front. The reason that there aren't more giant explosive plays in that sport deep down the field is because of the amount of precision it requires to throw a ball 50 yards and have everything be perfect, and this guy does it better than anyone in the league. I'm routinely stunned by the amount of accuracy that he has 30, 40, 50 yards down the field.
You're pounding the table literally for Drake May. I'm on 4.5. I'll take it. And it's Vrabel as an underdog. This one's easy.
You say it's easy.
Yeah. 4.5. Give me the points.
Does feel easy to bet.
Give me the points. And
just give it to me.
If you even want to take the Seahawks, why don't you hedge against that and cook up a little Drake May's Superman parlay with like rushing yards or what have you, because that is New England's chance in this game. Drake May becomes Superman. So hedge against Seahawks minus 4.5 with that if you want to take action in this one.
I'm all over Seattle.
I am too, actually, even though I just pounded the table for Drake
Us
May.
saying that definitely didn't help.
Well, that's true. That's always true, that anything that looks like it's easy in that sport is never easy. But The safer bet, I'm guessing the entirety of this season, would be just take the points under any circumstance in any game, because football is always being football, and it's weirdly close late in a bunch of games that you never expect it to be.
Wouldn't it be great if just one time it was easy?
No.
No, what do you mean no?
I want a great game.
I want a
that's
great
close.
game.
But I want the money.
But
It'd be great if it was just easy one time.
I know, but that's why I'm shocked the line hasn't moved. I would think it'd be 3.5 by now.
It's because of the last two games the Patriots have played, and because people are forgetting what Drake May did all season. This is what they're also forgetting. They're forgetting what Sam Darnold did for 10 games of the season because of what the last one looked like. Sam Darnold erased an awful lot, and we got one of our favorite conversation points making an appearance all over ESPN today. If Sam Darnold wins, will he be considered elite? Yes. I haven't heard this one since Joe Flacco.
I know. I was making fun of that headline earlier today. It's crazy. No, I think it takes more than a Super.
How about very good?
Especially if he doesn't win it. If the defense wins it and he has an average game, I think he's still Sam Darnold. I could be wrong.
What if he has over 300 yards and the game-winning touchdown?
He's elite.
I believe that Sam Darnold will throw interceptions again.
Yes, I do too.
And, I think, are they, with Gonzalez playing or starting, they've lost like once this season? Like as a corner, he's elite. He's elite as a corner. I think he's Surtain, but he's in the conversation of best players there are in that league on defense.
It looks like the books have finally adjusted to JSN, though. That the over-under on
Jackson SN?
Yeah, the over-under on his total is insane because you cannot guard this guy effectively.
It's like Puka. You can't bet that. I'm not betting over 7.5 catches. I don't care who you are.
They know who to call when they need a big play. And it doesn't matter if he's not even open when you throw it. He'll get open.
He's ridiculous. I wanted to ask you guys about some of the stuff going on in Memphis because quietly, Memphis just traded a two-time All-Star who's a rim protector and is 26 years old, and the whole Memphis thing has collapsed, and it has made me wonder, and I don't know what the details are with Jaren Jackson on what has been happening in private. But I do think the dangers of growing up under the James Harden time in this sport is making it so that the 20-year-olds like Ja Morant, a generation removed from that, are learning really bad habits about how hard it is to be consistently excellent in this league. Because Memphis was a contender, and now they're a joke, and they just blew it up, and they just traded a two-time All-Star. Now, he's got some mileage on him because somehow at 26 he's got 7 years in the league, so he doesn't get to be quite a young player anymore. But this is a two-time All-Star who's a rim protector. Like, why are they getting rid of him and sending him to Utah? Like, and why isn't there more of a market for him than that? Like, what is it that I don't know that Utah is the one putting together the best offer for a two-time All-Star who's a rim protector who's only 26 years old?
3 first-round picks is a lot.
But why wouldn't someone else also want that player, and why is Memphis getting rid of him?
I think they're getting rid of him because they've decided to press full reset. Now in the next 7 years, they have 13 first-round picks, and they might attach one of those to move Ja Durant. Stay tuned. Ja Durant, damn it.
all in. I'm a fan of the Jets. I'm a fan of the Jets. Oh, no. The Jets. The Jets. Why this team? The Jets! The Jets!
Stugotz, what's the matter, buddy?
I mean, Greg, just one time. I mean, 40 years I've been rooting for this team, and just one time I wanted my team to play in that big game in that beautiful dome in Los Angeles.
Dome? What about the elements? Back in my day, we didn't play in a dome. Let me tell you, back in my day, we considered football to be an honorable game. We didn't have to pass the ball every single play, and that's how we did it back in my day. It's the cold in December and sweltering two-a-days. It's embracing occasional punts, and don't get me started on instant replay. Now we're cooking with gas. Watch out! I'm not done, by the way. Let me tell you, back in my day, there was no showboating. We respected.
Hi and hello, my fellow football Americans. It's your old pal Dave Damashek at Super Bowl 60 Media Night. Some people here are going to answer questions. Other people are going to ask questions. Which one am I? Let's find out. Do you think that Tom Brady wants to see you win a Super Bowl, becoming the second Patriots QB to win one?
That's a good question. I think it's something you have to ask him.
Do you think it's weird that the New England Patriots are named after the Revolutionary Soldiers who beat back the Brits? But now when the Patriots honor the best players they've ever had, what do they give them? A red coat. That's weird, isn't it? Does that make Seattle now America's team?
Yeah, I don't know the whole history behind, the Patriots, the red coats.
But that's weird, right? That we beat the Brits. And they're wearing red coats. I think they're announcing something about themselves.
So you saying they represent the Brits?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what it says, like they're telling us.
Oh. And you saying since we, we're Navy, we's America's team.
And the last team you were on proved fraudulent. They're not America's team. Is it the Seahawks now?
Well, that's something for America to answer. Let's start a poll.
We're getting the ball down the field. The clock's ticking down. I'm going to run out onto the field in a second here to try and win the Super Bowl. You haven't given time to thinking that one through?
If the moment happens, it happens. But, I'm just trying to keep it all the same.
If it does happen, now that we've had this conversation, will you think of me? First off, let's talk about the mustache. What went into it?
Yeah. I've never grown a mustache in my life. I really can't, as you can tell.
No, I can tell. I was going to say as much.
Got into the season, we lost. I shaved it. We won. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to keep this a winning-losing thing. And Sam Darnold and the boys just decided to win a lot of football games in a row, and so that's why I still have it.
You would like to play in the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, maybe let me hand it off a couple times.
Drew Lock says that he would like to take a few snaps in the Super Bowl. Can you make that happen despite the fact that the guy can't even grow a decent mustache?
Oh, man, that's your opinion. I think his mustache looks great.
Coach, given the hirsute quality of your starting quarterback, and never mind your backup.
The what quality of him?
The hirsute, the beard, that red beard that he wears, hairy.
All right.
If you throw a touchdown in the Super Bowl, will you do this? Like twist your mustache, like ha 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 ha.
Probably not. I don't know if I can really reach through the helmet too easy.
Stefan, have you seen a picture of yourself getting off the plane the other day?
Yeah.
Man, you look crazy.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I could pull that look off.
Yeah, it was like some archive Chanel, some old Jacques Mousse boots, like some stuff that you're probably not even interested in.
No, I'm interested. I just couldn't pull it off.
It's all guys. Let you hold the next outfit.
Is this a must-win game?
A must-win? Yeah, I think every time we go out, it's a must-win game.
Is this a must-win game?
Is every game a must-win game?
Yeah, every game is a must-win game.
It's a must-win game? I think you just ask that yourself and see what you want me to say to that.
Dave, is this a must-win game? I think it is. It's the Super Bowl.
There we go.
What does Drake think?
There we go. Exact same thing you just said.
We did it! Ask questions. You just saw me do that. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. Damashek out.
Hey, that's my bit.
He's wonderful. Football America. Yammering knob, but wonderful.
So good.
It was great. The look Stephon Diggs gave him. Like if we went back, see at some point if you can freeze.
You looked insane.
Stephon Diggs looked away, wouldn't make eye contact, didn't want to talk to Damashek anymore, was being polite. Damashek insulted some people to their face, to their mustachioed face, and he made Mike McDonald interesting, which is hard to do. I've got a couple of things that I want to get to with you guys, but the first thing I want to do, give me the stat of the day music, because I've got, from John Smoltz, I've got an excellent stat of the day.
Start of the day, start of the day, this year start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day, this year start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day, this year start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day, this year start of the day.
Does everyone here know Tony Gwynn? None of you are old or young enough to not know Tony Gwynn and what a great hitter he was. I don't know if the modern analytics would make him a less great hitter because he didn't hit for power and he didn't walk a ton, but he had a ton of plate discipline. This stat of the day comes from John Smoltz. You'd agree John Smoltz pretty great, right?
Pretty great, as is Gwynn, yeah.
All right.
We'll have that in 1 second, Dan.
All right. So John Smoltz has a stat of the day where I'm not totally positive, but I think that among the pitchers that he's talking about facing Tony Gwynn, I think John Smoltz might be the least impressive of the pitchers, and the stat that he's going to give you of opposing Tony Gwynn. Do you have it ready, Chris, or you don't have it ready yet?
Tony Gwynn was such a spectacular hitter, and it's funny because, like, Luis Arias has some of those types of stats now in
and
modern
apparently
baseball,
he's not a good player,
where he doesn't strike out, but all he does is hit singles, and they don't value him. But the difference between what Arias can do and what Tony Gwynn could do, it's a massive gulf. It's just that Arias is considered that in today's game because Tony Gwynn was that special.
Isn't there some crazy stat where, like, he never would strike out swinging, strike three?
Yeah, well, that's the stat I'm waiting for Chris to get. For some reason, he doesn't have it, even though I asked him for it a while ago.
I'll let you know when we have it.
I'm looking it up right now. Tony Gwynn's .338 career batting average. It's only tied for 22nd all time, but all of the 22 players equal or ahead of him are like old timers.
Mike,
like
are you
early in the
smirking
century.
because of how much Chris is cursing right now and feeling it, and you're happy? I don't like how much you enjoy being out of that executive director chair. I don't like the smile that climbs across your face as you see Chris is sinking into sewage. You saw what Damashek just did with the bit where he stood up and then sank.
Yeah, that's my bit.
I feel like Chris Cody. You know what I'm going to do to make this even harder for you, Chris? I'm going to do something else.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes for leaking confidence.
Just between me and you, Chris, I wasn't smiling at your dismay, though I usually do revel in that. I was still laughing at the DeMarcus Lawrence, Dave Damashek interaction and the look on his face that I've had several times every time that Dave starts cooking on something. I'd like to relive that at some point, but I don't have a lot of faith in the video right now.
Yeah, we can get back to that because there were some really funny things in there. But, Chris, you're going to have to leave for leaking confidence. You can just hit the button, play the John Smoltz video 90 seconds late, and leave. And I want you guys to listen to how amazing this stat is from John Smoltz.
How'd you do against Tony Gwynn in your career?
Not good. I still think the greatest stat in the history of sports, Maddox, Glavine, Pedro Martinez, and me. I want to say faced him over 330 times. We struck out over 12,000 batters combined. We struck him out 3 times. Pedro and Greg Maddox, 0. Glavine got him twice. I don't even remember getting him once. He struck out less than 1 year than guys strike out in a week.
That's amazing. The last part. So awesome.
The stat he gave, I don't know. Glavine probably wasn't the pitcher Smoltz was, but maybe I have that wrong. He just gave you Maddox, Smoltz, Glavine, and Pedro Martinez, who struck out combined more than 12,000 batters, faced him 330 times. 2 of those pitchers never got him to strike out. Glavine got him twice just because he's left-handed and Gwynn is left-handed, and Smoltz can't remember the time that he got him. Yes, that's the correct response to that stat. You said it well. That is perfectly said. Don't say anything else.
Good player.
Zaz is going to bet the castle here in a second. We've also got an ugly dog winning the Westminster Dog Show, and I want to get to something happening at the Washington Post. But before I do that, I have been told that Chris Cody is accusing Greg Cody at his Super Bowl party of trying to do too much with something that he is cooking. What are you doing for your Super Bowl party? What plans does Greg Cody have around the Super Bowl?
Good job on that burp. Good stuff, pal. Keep it moving.
I didn't even know he knew about this. We haven't even discussed it. How is this possible? I am in honor of the Super Bowl being in the greater San Francisco area, even though it's 45 miles from the stadium. Ridiculous in and of itself. I am making cioppino, the San Francisco favorite, the seafood stew. And it's a specialty of mine. Love making it. And I'm going to grace my guests with such a dish.
Did you think about going rice-a-roni? That's
No.
a San Francisco treat.
Yeah, no, I'm not big on rice.
He's doing too much. You're doing too much.
Why?
Super Bowl party, chicken wings, nachos, chips and salsa. Like, that's all you need. What is this dish you're making?
It's cioppino. Bring it.
Doing too much.
Okay, don't eat it then. I'll eat it all.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Do you know what cioppino is? Because it's legitimately something I've never heard of. This is the first time I'm hearing of cioppino.
Yeah, it's a seafood stew. It's spelled CIOPPINO, and it's very, very popular. We've been vacationing. It's a great culinary city. We've vacationed in San Fran and eaten
Looks gross.
cioppino, and
It
it's
looks
wonderful.
gross.
Doing too much.
It looks incredible. Greg, I was
Incredibly
invited
gross.
over to a friend's house for like chicken wings in the Bad Bunny concert.
Right.
But when Bad Bunny's not performing, we're going to be in the same area. Can I drive over to your place to be able to come over and have some cioppino?
It sounds like Christopher is saying there'll be plenty left over. So
I'm legitimately.
Yes,
not
you're
kidding.
welcome.
I'm
Yeah.
coming over to have cioppino.
there you go. Let's
Greg
do it.
Cody is an exceptional chef, even though he is 0-3 or 0-4 in cooking competitions around here,
Yeah,
and
rigged.
is still reeling from losing to Mike Ryan,
Right.
who I didn't.
Reeling in the years.
I legitimately had not any knowledge that Mike Ryan could or did cook or liked cooking until he defeated you with an amazing coconut Thai soup. And you are winless in the cooking competitions around here. Chris, have you not heard of cioppino, though? Has your father not made it before? Because your father, I trust your father when it comes to cooking. He knows what good food tastes like, and he knows how to make it.
Oh, I'm not doubting that it'll be delicious, and I'll eat it. It's just doesn't give off. I don't hear that when he's like, hey, you coming over Sunday? No.
Well,
tell me you got chicken wings. Tell me what dips you got. All I need is 7 dips.
Okay, we're going to
7
have
dips,
all that.
4 chicken wings, that's all I need.
Somebody's going to buy wings. We're going to have dip. We're going to have tuna dip and this and that and the other. But the king of the culinary presentation
that's what this
will
is about.
be cioppino in honor of the host city.
That's the issue. Super Bowl Sunday is not about look at me Louis dishes. It's about let the commercials do the work.
I disagree.
I don't need some groundbreaking dish on Super Bowl Sunday. That's for the next Sunday.
Look at me, Louis. No.
Thank you. It's very look at me Louis.
No, there's four things that are important about a Super Bowl: the game, the commercials, Bad Bunny, and Greg's Cioppino. Not necessarily in that order.
Cioppino is about as obscure a dish as you can go with. Like if I were to say, hey, make me laugh with a word that describes food throughout the history of time that someone is having at their Super Bowl party, if someone said cioppino, I'd say that's a nominee for about the funniest thing that you could say comedically as a word to describe something that doesn't belong at a Super Bowl party. Like that does seem, when he says you're doing too much, it seems wildly extravagant for something that's easier than that. You stifle burps the way I do after a meal because you've just eaten too many burgers and chips and garbage.
Yeah.
It's not because that's why my lower body looked the way that it did when I was doing that video in the other room is because the Super Bowl party will get you in terms of making the gastrointestinal experience something that is rumbling. You would not even try cioppino, correct, Zaz?
I'm not about that.
It's a pricey meal. It's a pricey dish, but I guarantee you all of your listeners in and around San Francisco are nodding like bobbleheads because, they're making cioppino too.
I'd rather
it's going to be
rice-a-roni.
wonderful. No, come on.
Zaz, get out of here to go bet the castle because that's a good. What Zaz is about to do, easy, perfect Super Bowl dish. Like
so
perfect,
good.
like perfect. What Zaz is about to do, you can't do a lot better as a Super Bowl dish than I can have 3 bites of burger whenever I want.
You show up with a tray of White Castle burgers to my Super Bowl party, now we're talking.
So we're going to bet the castle here in a second, but I wanted to get Greg's expertise on something. I know that most people in America, I'm going to say the majority, do not care about journalism, do not like journalists, don't see the importance of journalism as a checks and balances on power. I know many of you listening to this are tired of about how much I care about journalism and holding truth to power on things that you see happening in America where the billionaires cannot be trusted to do the right thing. And billionaires are taking over newspapers, and billionaires are doing things with newspapers that are just simply wrong, flagrantly immoral, and against all of the principles of journalism I grew up loving. All my life until recently, there has been a clean and noble separation of the money and the people making editorial decisions. But what is presently happening at the Washington Post, owned by Jeff Bezos, who can just fart a few millions to give Melania a documentary she doesn't deserve that's just terrible because every one of these billionaires is protecting their money and running scared of this goof that we have running our country. The Washington Post just eliminated its sports section. The layoffs have begun at the Washington Post, run by Jeff Bezos. The business of journalism is so bad that Jeff Bezos, who can waste millions of dollars doing a favor for Donald Trump and making a shit documentary about the First Lady, has just begun its layoffs, and it is legitimately brutal to watch.
The executive editor, Matt Murray, says that they're going to treat sports like a cultural phenomenon. So that means maybe a guy climbing a skyscraper?
Greg?
Yeah, they were going to send a whole team of journalists to the Winter Olympics in Italy. Now I think they're sending 2 or 3 people.
They're also not sending anyone to spring training for a team that was a champion a few years ago in baseball, the Washington Nationals.
Yeah, well, this is also the death of the newspaper is the sub-story there. But you're right. I mean, when the billionaires start buying the media, then the media is no longer independent. It's depressing. The whole state of freedom of the press is depressing, you know, and I think when Trump first came into office, one of the first things he successfully did was say, that's a lie. The media is lying. You know, what is truth anymore? And it trickles down. And Bezos, yeah, I'm depressed by the whole thing, to be honest with you.
For those of you who do not care about any of what it is that we are presently talking about, this has been something, obviously, that I've cared about unreasonably most of my life, and it has worked for me to care about it. But I'm watching an assortment of things that are wildly sad, and I want to just ask the group, because this has been confusing to me over my lifetime. The regard for journalists and media is so poisoned that I wonder why it is when I'm saying this that more Americans don't care about the importance of or understand the importance of freedom of the press. Do you guys understand why it is that more Americans don't care more passionately about why it is it's important to make sure that you can tell the truth? Just tell the truth. I understand that people think the media is biased. I understand how you come about those opinions. But the way that those things get broadcast when vetted through lawyers is much more responsible than the way that most things now get into your information system. So therefore, more credible because it's more responsible. I understand that social media has changed the game, that most people get their news through Instagram. And I also understand, though it breaks my heart, that most people don't actually care that legitimate journalists have to get things vetted responsibly so that what they're giving you is closer to fact and not disinformation and not defamatory. And most people listening to this also don't make a distinction between what the Washington Post has been the entirety of our lives and Instagram and Facebook. But this newspaper is one of the 5 best there's ever been. And this sports section is one of the 5 best there's ever been. And Jeff Bezos can't afford to keep it alive. Like, the media's already dead.
Well,
we just haven't gotten around to announcing it.
He can't afford to keep it alive.
Of course he can. He's choosing not to. And that's a major distinction.
Yeah. Also, the sad reality of all these things going by the wayside is that there isn't a marketplace for them.
Well, it's also the benefit to the multi-billionaires, right? Like, if they're unchecked on the decisions that they make, that's the benefit of journalism and journalists. It's the reason that Donald Trump, from the day he showed up, started saying everything is fake news. Because if you can blur the lines on what's real, what's not, what's a fact, what's fiction, everything is opinion, nothing matters. And now these things go by the wayside as you rely on TikTokers.
And what's sad is that Jeff Bezos can afford not only to keep the Washington Post staff intact, but to increase it and make the Washington Post stronger than it's ever been and be the beacon of freedom of the press in this country. He had, without even touching his wallet, he could do that, but he chooses not to.
Okay, so I am just curious, before we get to Zaslow here and he bets the castle, I am just curious when I ask this question because I don't know the answer to it, the question I'm about to ask. I really don't. When you see institutions that have been journalistically credible the entirety of your lifetime, like, for example, 60 Minutes and CBS, run scared from a president who can file lawsuits and then just win nuisance lawsuits because the media doesn't want those problems, why don't more people care that an institution as reputable as CBS has clearly gotten contaminated by this in a way that's irrefutable and also morally wrong according to what have always been America's principles on freedom? Why wouldn't that one land? If the Washington Post, which discovered Watergate, doesn't land, why wouldn't CBS, as one of the institutions that has best represented the idea of we're going to do this credibly and does it with old people, why wouldn't that one land when it gets contaminated from the inside on biases and corruption and everything that's happening in America as it regards to money?
But I think it does land with about 50% of the country, and the other 50% either doesn't care or is not informed as to the changes that are happening. And then there's a portion of that 50% that actually like the changes that are being made. And I understand what Jeremy said about billionaires wanting unchecked power. Yes, absolutely. The news division especially. They also like money. And if there was money to be made in covering sports, trust me that a capitalist like Jeff Bezos would find the way to do so. I think the sad reality when it comes to sports journalism is the appetite is not there. Social media did a number on it. The internet did a number on it. It has to evolve. You know, milkmen that were put out of work didn't have podcasts to go to and lament the loss of the milkman industry. Thankfully, sports writers have a skill set where they can go and adapt to the times.
Right. I mean, the Miami Herald sports staff at its height was probably 36 full-time writers, and now we're down to 7 or 8, maybe 6 or 7. And that's just the way it is nationwide. But I think we're such a polarized country that the way we feel about the media and about freedom of the press is the way we feel about the force that ICE takes on immigration reform and the fact that they've, allegedly murdered 2 people without cause. We're polarized. We can't agree on anything. I mean, you and I feel strongly about freedom of the press, and half of the country's going, it really.
I don't think it's even half. Like you guys are saying half. I don't think it's even half. But when Mike Ryan says adapt to the times, that is what Pablo Torre is doing with adapting to the New York Times and trying to do something in the modern age that is a little bit different. I will urge you to check out what he's doing tomorrow because he's got another one tomorrow that no one else will touch, and we will talk to him about tomorrow. But let's segue to Zaslow now. And look at Tony rummaging around. He's just gotten back from Key Biscayne, and he's rummaging around in the background. What did you just find there? Did you find some of the pork? What did he find? Did he find some empanadas? I have heard, before we get to Zaslow, I've heard some people complaining about but our lunch and our breakfast. I've heard some people complaining, but every time I look over there, I see somebody trying to steal food and putting it into their pockets and absconding with some of the free food. Let's do Zaslow's Betting the Castle now. Get us started, Zaslow. What is the bet that you're offering here on behalf of the delicious and scrumptious and amazing White Castle?
I'm very glad. Tony, get out of the way. I'm very glad to be doing this again. White Castle classic cheese sliders. I'm very, very excited for this. It tastes so good. So you may remember the last time I did this, my Bet the Castle didn't go so hot, so I'm going to make up for it today, and I'm going to give you guys a winner. You ready for this?
Well, no, I'm not. I'm going to remind people that the first and only time Zaz has done this, he said to take the Nets plus 11.5. They then lost by 50 against the Knicks.
You always want to buy the hook, Dan.
And they scored all of 66 points in an NBA basketball game.
Which is like impossible.
If you're going to lose big.
It was staggering how bad your bet was. Let's do this now. Give us a better bet than you did last time, please.
All right. Well, we've been talking about James Harden, the James Harden trade yesterday. This is one of my favorite things. James Harden was traded to the Cavaliers, but the Cavs, they're at the Clippers tonight. Do you think Harden went to Cleveland? No. He probably stayed there, and he's waiting for his new team. And guess what? We're going to take his new team tonight. Even though he's not playing yet, we're going to take the Cavaliers. They are giving 2.5 points tonight. This is a Clipper team that's all out of sorts. I think the Cavs are going to have some extra juice to them tonight. So I like the Cavaliers giving 2.5. I know Evan Mobley's out. I don't care, all right? You can't trust that Kawhi Leonard, so we're going to go with the Cavaliers giving 2.5 in L.A. tonight.
Okay, but I believe you're supposed to give that take while the burger is cooking and then eat the burger as the punctuation on the take. At least it's the way that you did it last time. Now you've given us the take and you're ready to do this? You're ready to do all of this. Okay.
Here we go.
Yes, it's great. It's just...
Oh,
it's so good. I love it.
I'm eating that second one.
It's really good.
Bet the Castle is presented to you by White Castle. Hunger says eat, cravings say eat this. And with White Castle's 100% beef, grilled onions, melty cheese, and steamy buns that hold it all together, how can you not crave thy castle?
I don't believe, Chris, that burger will last until you get over there. I believe that you're going to have a good
Tony's
deal
over
of
there,
time.
and it's already gone. And it's gone.
Skis.
It just
He
disappeared.
said burgle.
He burgled the burger.
Been burgled.
Yeah, who wouldn't want to burgle the burger? Those are just amazing. Like, you can't make enough of those. It's why my lower half of my body looked the way that it did in that video that I did earlier.
I'm going to add those to my Super Bowl menu. They go good with chipino.
I can't believe you're doing chipino. That makes no sense.
So look at me.
It just
Makes all the sense in the world.
How often
It's
do
a
you
San
how often
Francisco
do you
Super Bowl.
respect the host city with your culinary? Like, is this normal?
Oh, yeah.
You do this every year? Is
Yeah.
this part of what you do? Like,
Yeah.
what do you make?
You take a culinary tour of the host city?
If the game was in Foxborough, I'd probably serve lobster rolls.
Oh, that's great.
Maybe clam chowder.
Ghirardelli chocolates laid out for the
for San Fran.
attendees.
See, it's look at me.
Absolutely.
Like, it should be about the game and the commercials.
Chris,
He's like, look what I can do.
So does
I
he
like it.
does he make a jambalaya when it's in New Orleans?
Yes.
Does he do
Yes.
this every
Yes.
year?
Yes.
You have a
is
good
the
party.
answer.
You have a good
Thank
party.
you. Yeah, I think so.
What makes a good party is the host caring.
You know what? And this doesn't replace the usual. The usual is chicken wings and dip and all that. We have all that. But I have something else that is at the top of the heap of what we're offering. That's all.
You go the extra mile.
Thank you. Extra mile and a half. Couple of miles.
Then he's spending the whole first quarter assessing everyone eating his dish.
Yeah, he wants to make sure you enjoy it and then give him proper things because he's a bit of an egomaniac. What can't you get about this?
If you don't say, Greg, this is really good, he starts like
Well,
huffing and
yeah.
puffing around the whole joint.
Chris, why else do you do anything?
not
Why,
true.
why else do you do anything good for anybody else?
Thank you, Mike.
You need to be able to hear people say, hey, man, you did that good thing. Thank
Preach,
you.
Preach. That's right. No, he's right. Mike's nailed that. What a bullseye he just hit, that guy. No, he's right. You got to compliment.
We don't do good things out of the kindness of our heart around these parts.
If you like it, tell me. That's
yes, I do it for fanfare.
all. Thank you.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Do you only do good things to have people tell you you've done something
Yes.
good?
I need the credit.
That's not the way I think
Oh,
of
yeah. You got to have credit.
kindness and charitable
Thank me.
acts.
Thank me. Seriously. I'm the only one honest enough to say it. If I make a Sunday meal and we're 2/3 through the meal and nobody has said anything
Then
yet,
you say something out loud.
I'm seething.
You literally will say, like, oh, geez, no compliments.
You should be
No,
appreciative.
I try not to
Does
say
he
that.
actually say, wow, no compliments?
If he doesn't hear multiple, this is really good. He wants to go around. Everyone has to say what the rock star of the dish is. That's the
Well,
Greg Cody game.
It's, I like pick something.
He
that
always
I'll
picks
serve
the
that you
most
like.
obscure
I don't know.
thing. Like these sauteed onions on the side are really the rock star of the dish. It's
I
never the
mean-
main dish.
Well, you can compliment whatever you want. Just give me a little compliment.
Greg, he's going to miss it when you're gone.
Thank you.
When all he has is a tray of lukewarm popcorn chicken from Publix.
You're so right.
He is going to miss the time, effort, and care you put into the
Yeah.
Super Bowl.
The inheritance he gets will offset that
The
a
inheritance
little bit.
joke. Here we go.
But
Can you please tell us, put us next to your family? I don't know how often you do the family meal where you cook something elaborate, but please put us at that dinner table and tell me like how this goes, like some of the conflict that has arisen from you wanting a compliment and realizing you're not going to get one. And is it indeed, like if they know that you need it,
yeah.
and they're denying it, it must be because the food's not as good as they'd like it to be, right?
Well, here's the thing. A couple of Sundays ago, I had the whole crowd over, and I served chicken francaise. It was fabulous.
It was.
It was. Now, I served with it spaghetti with sort of a garlic butter sauce. Didn't love my garlic butter sauce. It was okay. Didn't love it. But the chicken francaise itself, I thought was top notch. And so we're halfway through the meal. Nobody's saying anything. Maybe people are just.
I
too
don't
busy
even think
eating.
that's true. I feel like we complimented that meal. That was
Well, let's let him get through what he's saying here.
I mean, maybe the compliment was a little bit tardy, but eventually it came.
Well,
But
what would be tardy? Like, at what point in the meal do you want the compliments to start raining in?
within the first 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The meal starts where younger son Michael has to read the menu. My dad writes the menu, and younger son Michael reads it for the whole
Right,
table.
it's a tradition.
And then we eat.
Always the younger son.
And midway, my daughter has started doing it as she's learned to read.
Wow,
but
it's like their version of Passover.
passing of the torch.
Good reader, yeah.
And then as the meal goes on, 10 minutes in, if he doesn't hear compliments, he starts huffing and puffing.
Dianu.
I huff and puff privately. Is it disappointing? Yes. What you got to do is show appreciation in all walks of life, right? Show appreciation. That's all I'm asking for. Because I'm on my hind legs for hours at a time putting together an elaborate Sunday meal.
Yeah, all for you to thank me profusely, preferably for 10 minutes, and then we go around the room.
Like a kangaroo in the kitchen.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do human beings have hind legs? Because this suggests that the rest of the time you're walking around on all fours, and then you get up to cook your chicken francais.
Hind legs.
By the way,
now.
Keeping someone in your pouch?
And yeah, that's right. An interesting fact I learned on the Greg Cody show last week. This was a 3 Facts Jack thing. And McGill, if he were here, would acknowledge this as truth. Animals over time have evolved, and here's an example. Not prehistoric, but in long ago time, the penguin, the cute little penguin, was 6'8" and weighed almost 300 pounds. It was the size of a power forward in the NBA.
That can't be true.
Yes, it's absolutely true.
Put it on the poll. Did you know that the penguin was once the size of a power forward in the NBA?
6'8".
That's horrifying. Like, that's terrible. That's
I know.
scary.
It is.
James Cook was the last 100-yard rusher against the Seahawks. It was week 8 of last season.
See, how hard was that?
Let him cook. This stat from the Washington Post and this quote from what we were talking about on the Washington Post. Marty Barron, the former boss of me and Greg Cody, says, quote, "This ranks among the darkest days in the history of one of the world's greatest news organizations." The Washington Post says it's basically cutting a third of its staff. So 1 out of every 3 Washington Post staffers are being laid off. And Mike, you were right to correct me when you said, no, Bezos can afford it. I was wrong, obviously, in saying that he can't afford it, but he's getting out of the running of the Washington Post because it costs him about $100 million a year in losses. And Peter Baker of the New York Times says Jeff Bezos' wealth in 2024 was $194 billion. In 2025, it's $215 billion. His wealth today is $249 billion. So it's increased $55.4 billion. He obviously can afford a $100 million loss. I assume that the Prime documentary division and all the stuff that Prime is doing in streaming is losing a ton of money, because I don't imagine that many people outside of their Amazon subscription for other things are actually going to Prime for much of the movie and creative content.
I mean, the corruption is so transparent. What's going on, be it Bezos acquiring a reputable journalistic entity, or you said Trump was winning lawsuits. No, he's not. He's settling in what are clear backroom deals to make sure his friends control these media companies that give him favorable coverage. That is what's happening. And they install other lackeys to carry water. Now, luckily for us, a good amount of the population sees this for what it is, and the midterms are coming up. Unfortunately, there's some other lost souls that won't learn their lesson until history teaches them one.
Dan, Prime Video has a bunch of great stuff on it. Fallout's incredible. Have you seen Fallout?
No.
New Jack Ryan's coming out, too.
Really fun.
Really good.
I have trouble finding anything I like on Prime. It's among all of them, it's, to me, weaker than the others.
Batista Momoa didn't get you hooked in on whatever that is?
Dude, I started watching that.
It's called something Wreckage or Wrecking Team.
Something. It was bad. It was bad.
You didn't watch Linus?
It was like
Linus, good show.
It was like ChatGPT had a bunch of prompts entered in by Jason Momoa to make him look cool.
The Wrecking Crew.
That's what it was.
Somewhere down there.
I mean,
I'm halfway through it.
Momoa and Batista, like you.
That's what that got me in.
I'll watch it.
Finn Batista, though.
Yeah, he's not the ass kicker. I'm sure he'll get there, but I don't know if I care enough. I watched Nuremberg yesterday.
How's that? I want to watch that.
Dude, Rami Malek and Michael Shannon sharing a scene. It's as creepy as it sounds.
Wow.
He can't be put in anything anymore.
Who?
Stop putting Rami Malek in stuff. They're in this movie, the only time that it's bad is when he's trying to be a cool guy or rizz up some chick. It's just like this person is way too strange.
You know about that, Riz?
He's just an odd person. He should only play like villains.
Jeremy,
that's my 2 cents.
Would you do me the favor of looking up for me what it is that Amazon is reportedly losing in the content business? Because it's my last stop among the streaming services when
I like all the streamers.
You should too. You own a content company. We try to sell dogs to everybody. Shape up.
Did you see my lower half of my body in that video that we made before shaping
I didn't
up?
see it. I want to see it. I was excited for that.
No.
Yeah, let's stream that.
No.
I heard the Panacea thing that you said. Very good. I was sitting there like, yeah, Dan, hell yeah, fastball, dude. Paint the black.
Melania? Sounds like a John Mulaney Netflix special. It's Melania.
I'm still
Let's
hurting.
get it together.
Yeah, I'm still hurting.
Can you
on that
believe
one.
the First Lady?
Get me the numbers on Amazon. And before we get to Katie Nolan and Mad Dog Russo, I need you guys to find me the picture of the ugly dog that won the Westminster Dog Show so that I could do that with Katie Nolan. But Mad Dog Russo is next.
Cause that's how we did it back in my day. It's the wishbone I wish for. It's a toss to Red Grange. It's a first down without a taunt. Playing the game the right way. Whoa! No retractable ruse. I'm talking frozen tundras and ice bowls. No Brad Brooklyn. That's why they call it football weather. Bud Grant and the Purple People Eaters, ladies and gentlemen. That's how they played the game back in my day. It's Len Dawson enjoying a smoke and a brew during a game. It's Hank Stram wearing a sports coat. Legalize the clothesline and bring back drop kicks while you're at it. I'm Greg Cody, and that's how it was back in my day. Ba-da-ba-diddly-up. Bop. Ba-da-ba-diddly-up. Bop. Bop. That kind of thing.
Thanks for the lift, bro.
No problem.
Yo, what is this? Is this the musical? Turn it down, man. Like, I'm so tired of it. Musicals are corny. The shit is corny. Like, me tiene hasta aquí with this musical stuff, man. Just turn it down. I want to just chill, man, for real.
I feel you, bruh. I used to be that same way. Then my dog Andrew Lloyd Webber touched my soul with Phantom. And I quickly realized that, man, musicals, they're the highest form of theatrical art that there is, my brother. Think about it. It combines song, movement, dialogue, and production in a comprehensive fashion that really can't be rivaled. I'm talking about really, like, intricate shit, man. In many ways, musical led the cultural change in the 1930s, which was considered to be the golden age of musicals. Had those supremely talented artists not pushed boundaries and helped shape the new American pathos back then, I don't know if I'd be here right now today, standing in front of you. No cap, like no capadonna. Musicals had the capability to make you feel ways that you never thought.
Ready there, and he's ready to go, and he answers to the king of Radio Row. He knew.
No,
who
I
was
don't
talking.
mean it that way, but I knew you were chatting, so I figured I'd fill you in. How you doing?
Oh,
what's going on?
We've already started, and I've identified Chris Mad Dog Russo as the king of Radio Row because who's more of the king of Radio Row than you? I think of you and Jim Rome with his bodyguards, but you don't do bodyguards because you're a man of the people.
Funny there, Danny. Well done. Yeah, 1990, so a long time doing this, and there was no Radio Row in 1990, Niners and Broncos in New Orleans. 3 or 4 of us there, the local radio guy, Howard Eskin, Eddie Andelman, guys that you are familiar with, and in a hotel lobby at the Hyatt, 5510 San Francisco.
You invented Radio Row then? You're saying you were at the original Radio Row and it wasn't a row?
No, it wasn't an original.
No, but there were 3 people there is what you're saying.
Well, Pete Franklin for WFAN went the year before. That was the San Francisco, that was the Miami Super Bowl. No, that was San Francisco, Cincinnati in Miami. And he went to that and when I was at WFAN. And I'm sure Pete went to some Radio Rows prior to that in the early 80s. So I am not the originator of Radio Row. I think that WFAN, the fact that we did 24/7, and then the Giants got to the Super Bowl in 1991, our 3rd or 4th year there, I think that had something to do with it. That was the one in Tampa when they beat the Bills. The first one that I recall where they actually put us in some sort of convention setting in a hotel ballroom was the Dallas-Buffalo game in 93, 53-17. And, of course, BB, so 52-17, whatever the final was, BB against Leon Lett at the Rose Bowl. That is the first one that I recall that there was, say 7 or 8 stations in the same area at Universal City in L.A. That was that Super Bowl. They were the Cowboys, which was their first that they won. They beat Buffalo, obviously, twice. They beat Pittsburgh, and that was the first one that they beat the Bills in.
Greg Cody,
that one I remember.
Were you pointing at Chris Russo because you're laughing that he gets the scores right or likes giving the scores from 30 years ago? Because he's showing off when he does that.
No, and rightly so.
I am showing. Good job, Danny. I am showing off a little bit. But that was I think it was 31-17 Cowboys start of the 4th quarter against Buffalo. That's when Jim Kelly got hurt, and Reich played the second half. And then Dallas, that was not Buffalo's first Super Bowl. That was their 3rd, but it was Dallas's first. So the Bills had already lost to the Giants in Washington, and then Dallas killed them that year. Those are the early days for me doing this. Now, there were a lot of guys, including our old pal Joe Brown, who worked for the NFL, who went to every Super Bowl from Super Bowl II. And remember, I think she's passed away, Clark Kent's mom went to every Super Bowl. Her Chiefs were in Super Bowl I against Green Bay, and that was in '66. So there are some who have been to every single one. The first one that I went to was Super Bowl 24, with San Francisco and the Bengals. So I'm 24 behind certain people. How's that?
Now, Dog, Radio Row has certainly changed a lot over the years. Lots of podcasts now on Radio Row. Do podcasts belong on Radio Row?
You know, who am I to say?
You're the king. You're the king. You're the king of Radio Row.
Danny, you and I both know there is a difference between podcasts and doing a daily show Monday through Friday, the grind of it. There is a little difference. Everybody is piling on. They want to do podcasts. It's the Super Bowl. Little Chris Russo is not going to say they can't. But you're right. That adds to the aura and the plethora of media here at these games. I mean, remember, this is a weird one because the game is 44 miles away. I mean, they should be called the San Jose 49ers, not the San Francisco 49ers. The game is 45. I mean, that stadium is 45 miles from here. I mean, it's the furthest away from a city's name, I think, of any team in the league, for crying out loud. I mean, MetLife is 10 miles from downtown Manhattan, 44 from this. Now, there has only been a couple Super Bowls here, right? Dolphins played in Palo Alto against the Niners when Marino got killed. That was in Palo Alto, if I'm not mistaken. And then you had the Carolina one against Denver in Super Bowl 50. Is this only the third one? It might be in the history of the NFL. I'm not positive. I'd have to count that. I think it's the third one.
Juju, put it on the poll, please. Should they be the San Jose 49ers instead of the San Francisco 49ers?
That is a good one.
Because they're 44 minutes away.
I don't think you were kidding. This is the king of Radio Row. We went on a fascinating deep dive. The reason why Radio Row exists the way it does today is because of Mad Dog Russo. Jeremy, fill him in.
In 92 in Minneapolis, Mad Dog was going to do a broadcast live from inside the Hyatt Hotel in which they said Mad Dog was staying. And the Hyatt said, well, you got to pay $40,000. So they said, we'll go do it at the Holiday Inn across the street for free. So they did that. And because of the success that happened in Minneapolis, the following year in 93, WFAN said, we're sending everybody, we're broadcasting live.
Did you not know that you'd invented it? Were you not aware that you
was? Well, first off, good job by Jeremy. That was the Mike and the Mad Dog. I do remember we did not stay. We stayed in a Hyatt in Minneapolis. That was that cold weather, one of the first cold weather Super Bowls, and Minneapolis did a great job with it. And that's when Buffalo got killed by Washington and Thurman Thomas misplaced his helmet. You guys remember that. Of course. And missed the first play. And I do remember we did the show in a different location than the Hyatt lobby. I did not know about, I have heard that story recently, but at the time, Danny, I was not aware of the $40,000 fee. So if that is the case, that would answer why, in fact, there was a change in philosophy with the NFL of making it Radio Row. Now, the year before that, remember, that was Giants in Buffalo, and Mike and I went to the championship game that year in San Francisco. That was the three-peat game in which the Giants, Roger Craig fumbled, and the Giants ended up kicking that field goal by
5 field goals.
Won the game. Yeah, that was a 50. I think it was
15-14.
15-4. They were down 14-12. Craig fumbled. Giants go down the field with Hostetler and kick the field goal. And there was no week off that year because of the war. So we went right from San Francisco to Tampa, and we did the show at the Tampa Hyatt. So there was not a media row then, but there was a lot of Giant fans who came down for the game. And they watched the show at the second floor of the Tampa Hyatt. And the Tampa Hyatt hired a band for the week. And the band said, we can't do this because all the Giant fans came down and wanted to hear Mike and Chris do a show on the Giants. So the band left, and we controlled the second floor of the Tampa Hyatt there with the great Buffalo Giants Super Bowl 20-19 with the field goal missed by Norwood, as you know, the 48-yarder. And I remember we had George Young on at 5 o'clock on Friday afternoon. There must have been 300 Giant fans watching.
The GM of the
Right,
Giants.
there you go. Who used to work with who was the player personnel director for Shula with Miami.
Damn right.
Who in fact, there must have been 300 Giant fans watching George Young. I remember that. That was in 1990.
What war?
What war? That was the Persian Gulf War.
What year was that?
In 1990. 1990.
I wasn't even born.
And so there was no week off. They changed that. No week off. And getting in to the Sombrero in Tampa, that was the old stadium. That's where the game was. Getting in, you had to get there basically 4 hours before game time because of precaution. And there was Whitney Houston did the national anthem, and there were basically snipers on top of the stadium because of the tensions with the war. That's a famous one. That's a famous one.
I don't think we've spoken about anything in this interview that's happened in the last 20 years.
Yeah, I know. Well, you get me on. You get me on, you guys. You're going to be talking about. I'm 100 years old. You're going to be talking about the old days, for crying out loud.
He headlines Mad Dog Sports Radio on Sirius XM, including Mad Dog Unleashed, weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern. You can also see him every week on First Take. He's got, obviously, a gift for the genius of what sports radio is. And, Chris, I asked this question sincerely out of curiosity. Do you believe that everything you say is interesting? Because I think you kind of have to in order to be as good at delivering interesting things as you are. So I don't mean it as an insult. As you're talking, you used to talk for 6.5 hours a day, right? Like your show at one point was 6.5 hours. And I think that probably mutates you into somebody who's got to believe everything he's saying is interesting.
Well, you have to be a good salesman because you have to convince the audience that what you're saying is interesting. So that's the first thing a good talk show host has to do, especially if it's on for a long period of time. As you said, Danny, Mike and I won 1 to 6:30, and then when I got to Sirius, it was 2 to 7, and no commercials at Sirius. So if you're going to do a show under those scenarios, you got to make sure that what you say you're into, because if you're into and you're enthusiastic, you can convince the audience, well, he cares about it, so it must be something I should care about. And that's where being a good salesman is important. And my father was a salesman, so that's where that gene came from. You know, I think you got to have that. I think you got to have a little curiosity. I think you got to be able to, you know, be interested in a lot of different things. History helps. You've been doing this a long time, Dan. You have that same gene. If you're curious, that will help you, Danny, be a good talk show host. So I like to think myself as curious, and I like the history of it. So if you like the history of it, you're curious, and you got a crazy personality, you can be a talk show host if that is, in fact, what you want to be. You know, when I started in the early 80s in Jacksonville and Orlando, the second job I had was at WKIS in Orlando, Good News Talk Station, 74 AM. I did 6 to 8, and the old general manager who hired me, a fellow by the name of Mike Geyer, who put Bob Trumpy on the air at CKY in Cincinnati. Trumpy just passed away about, 6 months ago. So he knew sport. He brought me into the office one day. This would have been probably 85. And he said, Chris, you have the perfect blend for a talk show host. You know, you got all those little ingredients to make you a good host. And Geyer told me that in 85, so I've thought about that my whole life. And he put Trumpy on the air, and Trumpy was a good talk show host, too, at CKY. So in Orlando, 6 to 8, Monday through Friday, in the mid-'80s, I'm sitting here doing sports talk at 24, 25 years of age. So there you have it. Longevity is important. 40 years of doing this. 40 years.
Mad Dog, what's your favorite Bad Bunny song?
My favorite Bad Money? What do you mean Bad Money?
Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny.
Oh, Bad Bunny. I couldn't tell you. The band.
Okay,
You got,
that's okay.
You got the wrong. I can tell you my favorite CC Hart song.
No.
I can tell you my favorite.
No.
Crosby,
Sure, let's
Stills,
go there.
and Nash
Yeah.
song.
No, what is it?
I can give you. I can give you my favorite Doors song, but I can't give you the. That's a little rough. That one I can't. I'm not good at that stuff.
That's
And they're
okay.
doing the halftime, so now I understand.
That's all right. Let's play the sound for Mad Dog to see how it is. I don't think he's self-conscious about these things. We've done a form of this before. What happened to you here, Mad Dog?
Out of
The quarterback in this ball game here, stick him.
Oh yeah. That was funny. Where did I come up with that? Where did I say that? I mean, I said that 2 weeks ago. What station did I say? Oh, I said it.
WKCY.
I guess I said it on FA. What station?
WKCY.
He's being a smartass. Don't listen.
My bad, the KCY. Here's what I did. I said it on our show, and Jimmy Traynor picked it up, and then everybody heard it. That's what I did. And stick him instead of Stidham. That was pretty stupid. But you know, the half-court shot I attempted there a few weeks ago, back a couple of months ago.
A little rough.
You know, that's the thing. You can't take yourself too seriously. Be yourself. Try to be authentic. And if people think you're a nut sometimes, what's the big deal?
That's
you must
right.
be doing something right.
That's
You've been
right.
doing this a long time.
Yeah, you're doing
you must
it right.
be doing something right.
Lightning round.
That was a bad one, though. That was a bad one.
Lightning
Stick
round.
him instead of Stidham.
The lightning round, because you got to get out of here. Headlines, Mad Dog Sports Radio on Sirius XM. I'm just going to do this. So rapid fire. Best city to host the Super Bowl.
I know this sounds crazy. I love Minneapolis. They took advantage and they capitalized on all the snow. That was the one with Buffalo and Washington.
It is crazy. What you're saying is crazy.
And they had stuff, what you could do, and they took
Rapid
advantage of
fire.
their surrounding scenarios.
Lightning round. Most entertaining Super Bowl game.
That I have seen. Before I worked, Dallas-Pittsburgh, 35-31 back in the late 70s when Thomas Henderson said Bradshaw can't spell cat if you spotted him the C and the T, which is fun. Go ahead.
Best food to eat watching the Super Bowl.
Nachos.
Best halftime performer.
Springsteen, Tampa.
Seahawks or Patriots?
Seahawks. I'd be shocked if they lose.
Enjoy Bad Money and the halftime show. Good.
They're great, dog, by the way. They are amazing.
You were great. Appreciate it, Mad Dog. Thank you.
All right, Danny.
Always appreciate
Jeremy,
it.
thank you.
Legend.
You got it, pal.
A legend. I got 8 Dannies. 8 Dannies. That's a record for me. I'm so happy to get 8 Dannies from him. It's the highest honor. The highest honor. Him and Wilbon, the only ones allowed to call me Danny.
Big guy, no one's going to realize we're wearing different clothes. We're not going to get those flimsy accusations that we're lazy just because someone noticed on Reddit that it was taped. Don't let it get to us this time. We did the work. It's the first time they experienced it. How is it lazy? It's just show. If anything, we should get credit for not being lazy because we worked extra yesterday for the listener. Don't let it get to you. Do not crack.
Speaking of which, we're working extra after the show today and tomorrow because our postgame today is just going to be everybody talking about the NBA and the trade deadline. You guys are going to stay live on the show here for a while. Tony and Zaz and Jeremy and a cast of characters are going to be doing more NBA talk as part of the postgame today. It'll be live on YouTube. And also tomorrow we're going to do a live stream up to the trade deadline. We're going to enjoy ourselves and fool around. Also, very happy to see on my screen someone right now who is at the height of her powers. It's not just Casuals with Katie Nolan Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's not just her daily Sirius XM show fan service. Her Patriots are back. She's sitting down with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. She is maximum New England right now. Mike, what
it's a tough 5 years that poor fan base had to endure.
Yeah, right? There's a whole generation of 5-year-olds who have never seen the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Katie, it is nice to see you. Again, weekdays, 12 Eastern on Mad Dog Sports Radio. I want to bring you in here first, and I know that Cody's got some opinions here. He thinks the winner this year of the Westminster Dog Show, he thinks that the dog is simply ugly. So what kind of preamble do you want to give this for context?
Okay, a minor correction. Not ugly, but scary. This looks like if the devil had a pet dog, it would be the Westminster Kennel Show champion. It's a Doberman Pinscher, and it is one of the scariest dogs ever. And when I think of the Westminster Kennel Club, I want my winner to be a Cocker Spaniel, or just something a little, even a poodle, just something cute like you could imagine having in your own home, as opposed to that animal.
A poodle is cute? That's not cute.
Yeah, come on. If you saw that dog walking down a sidewalk toward you, you'd run like hell, am I right?
That dog is perfect.
There's a good looking dog.
I mean, literally, that's the point. That's what they give the award out for. That's you never played the game, so you couldn't possibly know what they're looking. I think it's beautiful. It's a beautiful dog. I also think he beat an Afghan hound. That was the runner-up. It was like one of those long-haired. How do you feel about an Afghan hound?
I love an Afghan hound compared to that animal with the pointed ears.
You sound very scared.
It's a devil's dog. I'm sorry.
All right.
Is.
Well, he won, so deal with it.
I am dealing with it.
Good.
Put it on the poll. Did the Devil's Dog just win the Westminster Dog Show? And also, Best in Show. This reminds me. I've not talked, and we have not talked about the passing of Catherine O'Hara. I am certain that Katie's got some opinions on this because that was a heartbreak. One of the great funny people of all time. What do you think of her as first? First, if you have to, because Best in Show is about the first time that I knew of her work most resonantly.
Really? Beetlejuice did nothing for
I
you.
did. I think of that as a Michael Keaton vehicle.
Home
more
Alone?
than- and I didn't love Home Alone. That was
Home Alone is the first. You didn't love Home Alone?
He thought of
you
it
said?
more as a Macaulay Culkin vehicle.
Oh, okay. Yes, of course. Home Alone's the first thing I think of when I think of Catherine O'Hara. But like Moira Rose, her on Schitt's Creek, she was just like consistent. She is consistently funny while also doing it differently. It's not the same every time, but it's always reliably hilarious. I think she was one of the funniest women on earth, and I was deeply saddened to hear of her passing. It was such a shock, and it really rocked me. I haven't been like knocked over by a celebrity death like that in a while.
Was the studio the last thing she did?
Yeah, I think so. And I think they just started filming the next season of that, so that must be a real bummer.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
She was-
real sad.
She was having
She's
a great
so funny.
third act, too, in her
Mhm.
career. It's like
Right.
everybody realized we didn't give this person proper appreciation, and she started hogging all the roles.
I actually have a
she
quick
deserved them. Give her more.
top 5 for her best things said on Schitt's Creek, and it was tough to narrow it down. I do have an OLI, which is the scene where they fold in the cheese.
Next step is to fold in the cheese. What does that mean? What does fold in the cheese mean? He folds it in. I understand that, but how do you fold it? Do you fold it in half like a piece of paper and drop it in the pot, or what do you do? David, I cannot show you everything. Okay, well...
Number 5, the way
Can you
she
show me this one
said
thing?
baby.
Do you realize the baby is crying?
I do, yes.
Isn't it scheduled to be dormant by now?
Isn't it scheduled to be dormant by now? For the way that she reacts to finding out her grown adult daughter has lice.
Well, Alexis has lice.
Ew! Ew! I assume you shaved her head, and we have to put a wig on her. But not one of my wigs. These have to be boxed now.
Moira, I've got it all taken care of. And I think twice about that garden.
Oh, it's too late. The notion of that garden is as abhorrent to me as our daughter's scalp.
And I was worried about you overreacting.
Number 3, the Herb Ertlinger fruit wine commercial. You could pick it up wherever you want.
Muskmelon goodness to his oak Chardonnay, and the dazzling peach crab apple to his Riesling Rioja. Come taste the difference good fruit can make in your wine.
Number 2, her advice about taking nude photos of yourself when the internet can't find them.
Then allow me to offer you some advice. Take 1,000 naked pictures of yourself now. You may currently think, oh, I'm too spooky. Or nobody wants to see these tiny boobies. But believe me, one day you will look at those photos with much kinder eyes and say, dear God, I was a beautiful thing. Oh, and make sure you submit those photos to the internet. Otherwise, your own children will go looking for them one day, and tragically, they won't be there.
And number 1, the only way to respond to if someone else asks you for plans you don't want to do.
I am booked up, David. You should see my schedule. I'm positively bedeviled with meetings, etc.
The goat.
Katie, I will
Damn, she
remind
rules.
everybody that Jeremy began presenting that by saying, I'm going to do this quickly. The
Right. I'm
Belichick...
sitting at Radio Row, just listening to, and I love it. I do love Moira Rose clips. But I just, I'm people are walking by looking at me, and I'm just listening and laughing. I feel very uncomfortable. There's a screen with just my face on it as I sit in a chair, and famous people walk by.
Sorry,
and I laugh.
Katie.
They can't tell if I'm on air or not. They don't know what's happening. It's very uncomfortable. But thank you for playing those clips. I love
We
them.
had you on to just sit there. Can you tell me how you felt about Belichick not making the Hall of Fame? And did you hear any opinions that sort of landed with you and you're like, okay, that makes sense?
None of it makes sense. In a world where we say the phrase first ballot Hall of Famer and it means something, none of this makes any sense. It's absurd. It's stupid. It's embarrassing. I think it should be a thing that leads to them changing the way they do that vote, that committee that votes on those 5 candidates. I heard somebody say that because he was, I think the rationale we heard was because it was so obvious that he was going to get in, they spent their votes on guys it was less obvious for. That's not how it works. It's the Hall of Fame. It's a binary question, yes or no. And Bill Belichick is always a yes. It doesn't make sense to me.
Katie, if it was up to you and you could only put one of Belichick or Kraft in, who goes in?
Belichick.
Did you have any sort of reaction to Kraft not getting in?
Honestly, I'm not happy to say this. I was kind of relieved because I feel like it would have dominated the conversation if Kraft got in and Belichick didn't, and it would have been all we talk about this week leading up to the Super Bowl. And I did not want to have that conversation. I don't like talking about the internal politics of the team that brought me some of my favorite victories as a sports fan. I'd rather just make fun of how one of them's dating a really young gal now, you know?
Katie, what do you think of the proposition that Belichick is just being penalized and will get in next year? He's being punished for Spygate.
I think he already was punished for Spygate, and it was a record punishment. There was the most a coach had ever been fined. So I feel like at what point does that stop? How many Super Bowls do you have to win before they're like, okay, we don't need to punish you in this way? I mean, we talk about Bill Belichick and say, like, future first ballot Hall of Famer. It was just a thing you say and you don't even think twice about. And now it's not true. We were all wrong and lying.
How do you feel about Greg Cody's pinky ring? Do you have an opinion of any kind?
I can't see it. How would I see it? I got no monitor of you guys. I'm just talking to a big picture of myself who did her own hair and makeup, and it's really not. I don't think I did a good job. Can I look online and see your pinky ring? I bet I hate it.
I bet you do.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's okay. I'm sorry. I thought that you had video there. That's my bad. How have you enjoyed Radio Row? What's that experience been like for you?
It's good. The last time I actually did a Radio Row here for Super Bowl 50, I had a TV show then, so I had like a lot more going on. But it's nice. It's like today it's starting to fill. I think tomorrow will be like the busy day. Yesterday was a little slow, but it's always funny to just walk around and go like, oh, that's Octavia Spencer. Why is she here? There's just random famous people that you bump into, and I like that. It's a fun environment.
Did you have some nerves about Affleck and Damon?
Oh my God, are you kidding me? We found out like 2 days before that we got it. I had no idea we were even trying to get it. Terrified. The hardest part of that interview for me was that, no offense, they brought their director, and I just couldn't have cared much less. And I felt like I didn't want that to come across, but it's like I got 20 minutes, and the two of them, hi, thank you for being here. Mind if I just focus on these two? I don't think I did a good job. That's my thing I sit with now. Is I'm like, hopefully I get another chance someday, because I didn't knock it out of the park. But it was fun, and they were awesome, and everything I dreamed of. And I didn't throw up, so that's good.
You like Affleck and Damon, but you hate Miami. I'm wondering if you watched The Rip.
I did watch The Rip. Is that a real thing? Miami has a law that you have to count the money that you seize from a crime scene on the scene?
I think that might be like a federal law. It seems like
I
a
thought they
good
said it was
idea.
specifically. I thought they specifically said.
They also called it Hialeah.
Did you watch The Rip, Mike?
I did. They called it Hialeah, and I checked out.
How do you say? How do you say it?
Hialeah.
Oh
God.
Hialeah. I've always said Hialeah.
No.
Hey, do you guys miss Mike McDaniel? Are you sad about that?
I did watch Dan Soder's reaction to it, and who's the gentleman that
was
he does
upset.
the
He was
podcast with?
upset.
Mark
What do you mean?
Mark Norman?
Mark
yeah,
Norman, the goat.
That was just an episode of his podcast. He doesn't
so
do the
Mark
podcast.
Norman's reactions to Dan's fiery hot takes were my favorite part.
Yeah, Dan was like, he found out what our side of the business is like when like Awful Announcing wrote like, Dan Soder goes off on Miami's front office. And he was like, why is everybody taking what I said so seriously? I was like, welcome to the game, dude. This is how it goes. Sports media doesn't care if you were joking or not. You were mad, and now they've posted it. And he was like getting all the sports media reactions instead of like comedy fans, which he got to live in our world for a little bit.
Whoa. And me and my friend.
What?
Hey, Jesus Christ.
Oh, Mark Normand.
How did Dan really feel? I mean, he said how he really felt, but he obviously had information about that because he's childhood friends.
He's just upset. He's like, your friend gets fired from a job that you think he was good at. I would hope you go to bat for your friend. They weren't like texting. He doesn't have inside information. He just found out from me. I actually had to be the one to tell him. I found out, my producer texted me and said, McDaniel out in Miami. And Dan was at the gym. And Dan's a weirdo who doesn't bring his phone to the gym. He doesn't listen to music. He just works out silently. And he came back upstairs as I was getting ready to leave. And he walked in the door and I was like, I have bad news. He was like, what? And I said, McDaniel got fired. He went beeline to the bedroom, grabbed any Dolphin stuff. I didn't let him buy a lot of merch, but he had like a sweatshirt and a shirt. Grabbed them both, threw them on the ground, and then stomped on them. He like literally stomped on them in the hallway and was like, I hate this team. It's I don't know, am I allowed to say the F word? He was like, it's F the Dolphins forever. And I was like, it's always been F the Dolphins forever. I don't know why you made me root for this team for a second or go to their games. But I was trying to be supportive. And so he's out now. And we'll see how, I think the Chargers I think that's going to be a good gig for him.
We've done good segments with
What is
Katie
this?
before. This one clearly lands on Jeremy. It was a bad idea. We'll just ream him out in the post show. Let's keep it moving and try to salvage this.
Katie, that's my inner monologue. That is.
It's great. That's beautiful.
That
That's
is
really
what I'm
good.
thinking privately. It was so much more poisonous than that, though. Like he was being
Really
gentle.
good.
He
Wearing
cleaned.
a stupid sweater.
Hey, ball off me, coach.
He cleaned it up, and my inner monologue is so much angrier than that right now. I can't even tell you. How is Tom Brady improving to you? I was very critical of Tom Brady. I thought he was distractingly bad last season and early this season. What are your thoughts on Tom Brady on the broadcast?
I think he's gotten much better. I think in typical Tom Brady fashion, I feel like he must have watched tape and analyzed it and talked to people who, gave him advice or constructive criticism. And I think he worked on it. I think the teeth thing is still an issue, but we don't have to focus on that. I think Tom Brady has gotten a lot better. And I think, in comparison to Tony Romo, I think most people are starting to see that they would prefer Tom Brady calling a game. Is that wrong? Does that feel right?
There is a sentiment shift that I have noticed that has been aided by Romo getting worse. It's interesting that that's the comparison point and not Greg Olsen, who's better than both of them.
Yeah, well, Greg Olsen's very good. He still has a job, right? Just not the top job, which I think he probably should have gotten. But yeah, Greg Olsen's great. Tony Romo this year, I think people loved him a lot at first and then turned on him really quickly. And I was hesitant to join the turning on. But this year, the thing that was grinding my gears about Tony Romo is he would always talk about it like if he were the coach, what he would have done. And then if the play would develop or whatever, and he would go, I was right. And you're like, we don't care. We don't care if you predicted it, if you were right, if that's what you would have done. Talk about what's happening, what the coach is doing, what the team is doing. It was all about, I think we gave him too much credit for the prediction stuff. And he was like, this is going to be my whole bag. And now it's aging in a way that you're like, find a new bag. This stinks.
And the laziest thing that he does is that he consistently says several times a broadcast that somebody is as good as anybody in the league at doing something. He does it so much, and it's just not possible for everybody that he's talking about to be better than everyone else in the league at something.
Yeah, mathematically that would be difficult, so I get that. I hadn't noticed that, but now I will.
He's like Keyshawn Booty, one of the best deep route runners in the league.
Who'd you wave at there?
It's just a guy from Dallas Radio that I did a spot
Radio
with
Row.
yesterday.
Love a Radio Row
dude,
wave.
It's just, look, I'm really popular with the local radio guys. I'm really killing it.
Can you tell us
Really
some
killing
good inside stories about you making your way through all Radio Row things? How does this one compare to any of the others you've heard about or been around?
It's look, it's still early days. I know you're not here for whatever reason. God forbid you show up and come hang out at
Katie,
the Super Bowl.
I hate Radio Row. Always have.
So what? We all do. We're all here. Kay Adams is here. I just walked by. She was doing an interview with Gronk, and I was like, oh, I would love to say hi to either of you, but I'm not. You're on. That's the weird thing about Radio Row is like sometimes you're just sitting here with a headset on. Sometimes you're listening to somebody play a bunch of clips to you, and people think you're just doing getting set up, so they'll come over and you're like, I'm on TV. So that vibe of Radio Row I don't like. The best experience I've had so far last night, I got to go out to dinner with Mad Dog and Stephen A. Smith, and that was a very fun. Yeah, Stephen A. showed up a little late because he obviously had other engagements, but it was just a fun. The Mad Dog throws this dinner for everybody that works on his channel on Sirius, and it was just it was a fun little moment. I liked that quite a bit. Walked up a lot of hills to get there. The hills of San Francisco, they're not lying. It's a lot.
I will tell all of you to listen to her in the two places that I've caught her recently where she is showing off some of her best work. Casuals with Katie Nolan, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And what are you laughing at? Sirius XM.
I'm just some of my best work. I appreciate it.
Fan Service with Katie Nolan, where she's doing a daily show for an hour where she's got a cool relationship with her audience. Thank you, Katie. Good talking to you.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. Thank you, everybody. Good
Bye,
to
Katie.
see
Sorry
you guys.
for wasting your time.
Except you, Jeremy.
You didn't waste my time. I miss you. I wish you were here.
He wasted your time, and I'm seething about it, and there will be notes after the show. And in fact, Mike, can you hold up the – no, you don't need to write it down. We have it because of – we just have it. Just grab what we have back there that we hold up every show so that the audience can see what is always the notes after every show.
Really quick, as we filibuster to find that note for Jeremy, who was just very poor in that segment, can we find the picture of Dan who looks like Charlie Weiss? I've been really wanting to see that.
All right. So, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Really unflattering. Yeah.
Wow. That's AI, right?
Unflattering.
That can't be true.
Is that Poppy?
Yeah. I feel terrible about that.
How could we let this happen? We look like Damon Wayans on the top rope of Great White Hype.
After this show today, yes. After the show today.
Tony, block the shot of it.
Move over.
Help my guy out here.
Tony, that was also Jeremy's idea.
I heard
And
that
it
one.
went great.
I heard about
okay?
that one.
That one went well. My bad on the Catherine O'Hara stuff. If it was all of us talking and we needed to kind of buy some time, that would have worked great. And my mistake on the whole Katie part.
I saw going on and on.
I saw number 3.
No, it was long. I had to
I
stop.
Go, it's 56 seconds.
I didn't
just
mean
started
to.
it midway through.
I know it was a popular show, but this is niche.
Not that popular.
Not niche. Hold on a second. That was the most popular show in America at a time where everyone was at home watching
The
TV.
best line was OLI.
Never seen it.
Folding the cheese.
You
best
could have
line.
done like
Never seen
all
it.
the
That's on you,
Catherine
bro.
O'Hara lines.
Oh, thank you for.
He started with quickly.
Yeah.
It's real
I didn't
quick.
know how.
You're allergic to quick.
I know that he was a star, but I'm pretty sure Catherine O'Hara had more screen time than Michael Keaton did in Beetlejuice.
Yeah, that's a weird one. By
You know,
Dan.
John Wooden said
He
"Be
was
quick,
Beetlejuice! He was Beetlejuice!
Came in halfway through the movie.
It's a Michael Keaton vehicle. We have, after the show today, we've got what are the people participating in this? I just lost my voice with the way that I
I'm in.
screamed there.
So you guys are going to raise hands. Okay, Zaslow, Tony,
said
and
I'm in.
Jeremy will lead our coverage of the
If
trade
I don't
deadline.
go home, because that was tough.
You might get sent home. Yeah, it might be just me and Zaz on the post show.
We're going to stay live is the point. And we haven't mentioned how well Cooper Flagg is playing. This is not a normal thing for a 19-year-old.
We should mention how good Cooper Flagg is playing because, like, since Jason Kidd went in front of the assembled media and says, "I know I've built players in this league before,
And me and my friend.
I know what I'm doing." Like, Cooper's been amazing. He's been incredible. He's on a tear. We were having the conversation just last week that Cameron Boozer is like quietly being a better freshman for Duke than Cooper Flagg was. I'm thinking, is Cooper Flagg just overrated? Is this a right way to handle this guy? And Jason Kidd showed us.
It was the exact day that I did the White Castle hot take thing where I was like, all right, Con Knuckle has a real shot to be the rookie of the year. That night, Cooper had 49 and has been on a tear ever since.
Wait, so your bet the castle was almost as bad as Zaz's?
Yeah.
The night that you did it, Cooper
He had
goes
49.
off.
Barkley's analysis was, I think he's ready, after he had 49.
We'll be right back.
Even if you might find the subject matter mundane going into it, by the end of the experience, you might find yourself spiritually enlightened through the magic of song and an occasional exposition to advance the story. Matter of fact, I'm feeling ways about football right now I could never dream prior to. I think I'm about to have a moment, my brother. Way down in the jungle deep, a lion bit a Viking on his motherfucking knee. It began in 1869, I see you, Mojo, with a match between the Princeton Tigers and the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers. Then in 1880, along came a man named Walter Camp, the father of American football, the Waltster, Wham, as they called him. He established the snap, the line of scrimmage, 11-player teams, and the concept of downs. The gladiator spectacle. Though the game has evolved over time, at the heart of it, the game of football is just a primal means to tell the age-old story of the triumph of the human spirit. Can you and your teammates overcome the brutal battery of physical and emotional trials over the course of a savagely cruel 18-week regular season, brother? And what be your reward for such a merciless gauntlet? A thrilling single elimination tournament that pushes the peak male form to high water marks year after year against the game's very best. All with the hope that you and your brothers in combat can rise above all others in one unified voice. Declare yourselves champion. That is why, with every fiber of our being, we love the playoffs.
When the best play, trenches face to face, sacrifice life and limb for the Lombardi. If there's a way, Stafford turns it all around. It would have to be LA, it would have to be McVay. What'd you say? Tom Brady, always down. Could he turn it all around now? Turn it all around now. Wipes the blood from his lip. Holy shit, he's gonna do it all again, do it all again. It's time for the playoffs, so grab a beer. I hope it's Miller Lite. It's time for the playoffs, the playoffs. It's time for the good stuff, where every game comes down to guys who kick. It's time for the playoffs, the playoffs, the playoffs. Ah, the playoffs. Our goalies, playoff beards, and Lord Stanley. No, Roy, I'm not talking about ice hockey. I'm talking about the NFL playoffs, the gridiron, win or go home, the ultimate postseason tournament. Here, let me show you. Big Ben's last game, Kyler's feeling shame, upsets in Green Bay and in Tennessee. There's just no way Prescott's going to the ground. He slid 1 second too late, and they don't have a timeout. Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, Arrowhead, become personal playground. Personal playgrounds. Too much time, 13 ticks. Holy shit, he's gonna do it all again, do it all again. It's time for the playoffs, so grab a beer. I hope it's Miller Lite. It's time for the playoffs, the playoffs, the playoffs. It's time for the good stuff, where every game comes down to guys who kick. It's time for the playoffs, the playoffs, the The playoffs sometimes mean having to say goodbye, even if you're not ready. Careers wind to an end, mantles taken, last chapter's written. But stars emerge, to write new, exciting stories. For every door that closes, a new one opens. For every immunized quarterback that falls short, there's a young hotshot ready to take his place. There's nothing quite like playoffs. The playoffs. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. I'm talking about the greatest of all time. He can turn it around in just one play. You can watch it all happen in the playoffs. The playoffs. Never is afraid. I see his face. The chosen. I'm talking about Evan McPherson. It's time for the playoffs. It's the playoffs. The playoffs. It's the playoffs.
Evan McPherson? The GOAT? He's a kicker. I mean, Tom Brady's bed's still warm. Tom Brady just left.
You're the greatest of all time. You're the greatest of all time. He's beautiful in every way. It's out of control.
He throws the ball most accurately and won 7 rings.
So good at quarterbacking, he's meant to outdeck his teams.
A 6th-round draft pick with a chip on his shoulder and a dimple on his chin.
You're the greatest of all time. You're the greatest of all time. He broke so many records and reached unattainable goals.
I said he was done 10 years ago when he shoved it down my throat.
He played the Jets twice a year and always ripped out their souls.
And just like that, he left us all wanting more. He's a certified GOAT.
You're the greatest of all time. You're the greatest of all time. You're the greatest of all.
The greatest of all time.
You're the greatest
The greatest of all time.
Huzzah! After an incredible season, the big game is finally here.
Ugh, have fun. I don't even care who's in the big game, unless it's my Steelers.
Come on, Jess. A game they call Super and a town they call Tinsel await. Which oversized behemoths will control the trenches? Which variety of barley wheat lager will woo the consumer? Which 90s rapper will solicit the most yearning nostalgia? There's oh so much to decide.
A game so big, one can only dream of the brightest light shining on your team. But if my team's not there, why even go? There's no one to cheer on, I don't get the show. Oh, tell me, you got the reasons. You got the reasons. Take me there. Take me there. Just take me there.
The Super Bowl, 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 the Super Bowl.
I hope you're starting to see the light. Regardless of who's in it, it's a spectacle.
I think I'm starting to come around. Like, for instance,
Everybody wagering on a team. Chris Collinsworth sliding into your screen. I was too caught up in being a fan
Anything you want, everything you need, you can get it all. Pat McAfee, writings on the wall. What's it gonna be? You'll see Marshall Falk and Mariucci. Anything you want, everything you need, you can get it all from Dominique. Writings on the wall. What's it gonna be? You can get it all. Kyle Brandt's Hemis.
Going out west for the Super Bowl.
Going out west for the Super Bowl.
My team's not there, but I'm gonna show.
My team's also not there, but I'm gonna show.
Everybody knows it's bound to be.
Everybody knows it's bound to be
The greatest night for you and me. Come on now.
I'll spend all night out in Venice. Then make castles in the sand. Santa Monica's calling, but I'm here to cover the Rams. I'll stay in and avoid chateaus. If I booze, then I'm on Skid Row. Just one drink to begin. Not like that's a big sin. Just one beer, then we're gonna go to the Super Bowl.
Now, Mike, you know we're here to cover the big game. It's a time to be professional and avoid all the temptations the City of Angels may have to offer. Ain't that right, Jess and Kate?
That's right. We're just here to ask quirky questions to grown men wearing their full uniforms without ads in a convention hall.
Oh my God, is that George Clooney?
It is!
Baby, one scotch at the Roxy.
Come on now!
One shot at whiskey, a go-go.
There we go!
Now we're drinking to unemployed temptations, but a job to do. Professionals with a drink or two. Just a thimble of gin, and then I'll be locked in. After gin, then we're gonna go to the Super Bowl. To the Super Bowl. Super Bowl.
I mean, we have been locked up for a while.
Yeah, there's no rule against covering the big game and enjoying La La Land.
Wait a minute, it's the Walk of Fame. So much to see instead of the big game. And the traffic is bad on La Brea. So come on, join me in popping tequila.
I'm just here to drink and find Lewis Hamilton.
Hey, guys.
Kyle Brandt.
You gonna shotgun a beer or what?
I don't feel so good. I am genuinely fucked up right now.
To the Super Bowl. To the Super Bowl. Super
It's showtime, buddy! The Bengal speaks. And the ram responds. The Bengal tiger is an apex predator with no natural enemies other than man. It's equipped with incredible strength, combined with sharp claws and massive canine teeth, designed for overpowering and killing its prey that can weigh over 1,000 pounds. It is, in reality, a finely tuned killing machine. The ram, on the other hand, though extremely quick and powerful in its own right, is a vegetarian that does not have to hunt down and kill to survive. Their massive horns are powerful, and they do have the ability to severely injure an animal with a well-placed bow, giving them the opportunity to escape. But for one to be able to overtake a Bengal tiger in a fight to the death would require a small miracle.
Stafford with the ball, with 6 minutes left, down 4 points, with 79 yards to go.
In a face-to-face battle, the best the Ram could hope for would be an extremely lucky first blow, done in the form of a massive headbutt that would temporarily stun the Bengal and provide an opportunity for escape. That, however, is unlikely. And the most realistic result would be the Bengal striking its claws into the ram while burying its teeth into its neck and causing a fairly quick death by severing the spine.
T. Higgins is gone for 75 yards.
Then the Bengal would devour the ram. Unless that ram was Cooper. You and only you can spark a battle cry. The Rams, victory was sealed on strength of your divine champions.
Stafford hangs back, looks off the corner, over the middle, a no-look pass. The fans are up for Cooper. McVay keeps calling his number. The penalty flags rain towards ground. Everyone in the building knows where it's going. Stafford to Cup in the end zone.
I'm still wearing the Moira Rose thing.
Yeah, that was terrible.
I never seen that show, man. I was bored when
me
you played
neither.
that.
Same.
You bored me.
All right, so the deadline.
A lot of things happened when we got off yesterday, by the way.
Yeah, dude.
Like 14 things happened.
It was crazy. So at the end of our half hour that we did yesterday, literally like we were about to wrap up and Jaren Jackson Jr. was traded. And Tony
Yeah.
and I had no
Yeah.
way to react to it.
I was given a gift yesterday because it happened I did afternoon drive on ESPN yesterday.
Good for
And
you.
it happened right before I went on. So I was handed a nice little nugget right
nice
there.
little packet, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, I
Yeah.
can do 4 hours."
It's
with this."
incredible. And then James Harden's traded later. And here's the best part. We have Amin Al-Hassan with us now for the post-game show. I believe we have Juju Gotti here with us as well. Not yet, but Amin is here. And Amin, Zaz, had some corrections about the way you were breaking down everything
Yeah,
with
so my
James
initial thought, and I talked about this early on yesterday afternoon, was, we're all waiting for the move before the move. And Minnesota, a team that's trying to contend, made a move yesterday that didn't net them anything. It opened up roster spots and it saved them money. So my first inclination was, they may feel that they have a chance to land Giannis.
Yeah, I mean, there's been reporting that Giannis would like to play with Anthony Edwards. He's excited about the prospect of that. I don't think that means that's his favorite, but, like, yeah, he's definitely open to it. And Minnesota's saying, look, if there's a 1% chance, we got to treat it like a 100% chance. So they're rearranging everything to get ready to do that. One of the things that happened as a result of their deals yesterday is they moved under the first apron. So just from that aspect alone, they've saved a lot of money. They're about a Rob Dillingham deal away from being not a taxpayer. So that gives them a lot more flexibility in terms of the things that they can offer, the things that they can do if they're going to get Giannis. But if they're going to get Giannis, that means they got to trade one of their other guys to go get a first-round pick because Milwaukee wants picks and Minnesota doesn't have many.
I mean, is the bartender going behind you at some point? I haven't seen him yet.
No bartender. The hotel bar is closed. I don't know what time they open. Probably 4.
And I mean, did you quote Batman there? If it's even a 1% chance, we have to treat it as a certainty. Did you quote Batman?
That's not Batman. Believe it or not, that's Dick Cheney.
Whoa.
It's called the 1%
Close.
doctrine. And when they were doing the war on terror, that was Dick Cheney's thing. Is like if there's a 1% chance that there's there's weapons of mass destruction here, we have to treat it like it's a 99% chance.
Good. I'm glad we're going with that strategy.
What if it was a 0% chance?
That strategy worked out really well.
All right, because that was also in Batman versus Superman when Bruce Wayne was deciding if Superman's his enemy, you know.
Terrible movie.
All right, but hold on. Let's go back to this James Harden trade to Cleveland because, I mean, we were talking on the show earlier and talking about essentially the concept of James Harden taking the money by going to Cleveland. Oh, there's going to be an extension. But you and I were talking a bit offline about why that's not necessarily the case.
He's not. First of all, he's not extension eligible. Let's just start there. He's not eligible for an extension. He's got to play out the year, and then at the end, he can either opt in his deal or opt out and sign a new deal. But there can't be an extension there. He's got to basically play it out or not play it out. I talked to Law Murray. Actually, the interview drops today on Basketball Illuminati. Get it wherever you get podcasts. And Law Murray, who's covered the Clippers literally longer than anybody in the media, was basically it was kind of very blunt. He didn't pull punches, but he said, James isn't doing this for the money. This is a guy who's given up money in the past so that teams could sign more players and better players and all that. James is doing this because he wants to win a championship. He's worried about his legacy, and he's being realistic. You look at the Clippers, even though they've been playing great, are they going to win a title? They're not going to win a title. And this aspiration stuff means it's only probably going to get worse from here on out once the judgments get levied. So he's like, get me out of here. Let me get somewhere where I have a chance. And he looks at Cleveland and I was like, okay, they're in the East. Their path is a lot easier. They were a really good team last year. They've got a superstar in Donovan Mitchell. I can go there and help them out.
All right, I mean, I guess we'll see if he asks Cleveland for an extension, right?
Well, he can't. It's not eligible for an extension. He cannot. He has to play until the end of the year.
But what about for next year? What about for next year?
So this is one of two things can happen. Either he opts out,
right,
making him a free agent, and then he can sign a new deal, but he can sign anywhere at that point, or he opts in, and then Cleveland has 11 days pretty much to figure out, do we want to stick with him for this 1 year, or do we want to waive him, or do we want to trade him somewhere else for someone who would waive him because he's only got $13 million guaranteed for next season. So there's a lot of moving chairs there. None of them have long-term money associated unless he opts out, in which case he could have done that from anywhere.
I mean, Tom Haberstroh had written a piece about all these things happening in Cleveland. LeBron going back to Cleveland, Harden being in Cleveland, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, everybody there. Is that something that you think, A, feasibly can happen, and B, if that doesn't happen, where does the Donovan Mitchell and James Harden-led team pan out in the East?
Yeah, it's funny. You mentioned that, and I'm like, is that a good team?
Right.
LeBron James. It reminds me of remember when Wade forced his way out of Miami, went to Chicago, and then he ended up on Cleveland, right? And then they were like, hey, and we're going to get Carmelo. And I was like, yeah, give him Carmelo. Go ahead. That's not a good team. These guys all past their prime because they want to be boys or buddies or whatever. So the same thing here. It's like LeBron, I mean, obviously LeBron helps every team. But it's just if that's your big master plan, it's LeBron, Donovan Mitchell, and James Harden. I don't know how that fits. It doesn't feel like a very natural fit. Now, Donovan Mitchell and James Harden, it's interesting because obviously Harden takes over the playmaking responsibilities that Donovan really doesn't want to do. But he's still kind of high usage guy too. And what does that mean for Evan Mobley, right? How does Evan Mobley fit into this? Does his game increase because he plays next to Harden, who's great as a lob guy, or does it decrease because now you got two guards who are getting 18, 20 plus shots a game, and now how much is left for Evan Mobley? I'm really interested. I'm intrigued. I think the reason why most of us are optimistic is because the belief is the East, and the East is anybody's game.
Well,
but I'll tell you one thing. No one's talking about this. The Celtics got Nick Vucevic.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that was a big trade, too.
That's a huge deal.
If I could just also add real quick, to put a bow on the Cleveland conversation there, I mean, I think the reason they did it is just as much about being tired of defenses targeting Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, the smallest backcourt, which you're not going to be able to win in the playoffs like that. Like, I feel like that is as much to do with the offensive side.
Yeah, it's Garland's size is an issue. Garland's health is
His
an
foot.
issue.
His foot hasn't been healthy in 2 years.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
he never plays.
He gets hurt a lot. Like Harden, we give. I heard you guys giving Harden a lot of shit. I'm gonna tell you one thing. In an era where everybody was like managing and playing 22 minutes and stuff like that, that dude plays like 80 games a year and he plays 37. 30. He plays high minutes every year, and he doesn't get hurt. So it's like there's a reason why it worked, somewhat for them in the Clippers, because it's like Kawhi's great in the playoffs, but he's not that durable. This guy's really durable during regular season, not great in the playoffs. Put them together and we kind of hedge our bets. So Cleveland definitely gets up on that, and then. The other thing is that Garland makes continuous money over the next 3 years, right? Harden, that flexibility is part of it. It's like, if it doesn't work out, we have options. Whereas Garland, long term, you don't know if you want to be married to that for that long of a term.
It almost makes me wonder too if ultimately, like, if it doesn't work out with Harden, if they just either move him or waive him and then end up using some of the money and some of the other contracts they have to get off of it to get LeBron. But we have good news. Juju is here. And Juju, I want to run through. There are so many names and just so many different things that are out there. And I'm going to say all of them, and I just want to hear what's standing out the most to you that has you the most intrigued here during the deadline. So we have Giannis and the potential that he could go to the Timberwolves, the Heat, the Warriors. Draymond Green, who could potentially be moved, apparently, according to him and to everyone else. Ja Morant and what's going to happen with Memphis. James Harden, obviously going to Cleveland. Jaren Jackson Jr. going to Utah for 3 picks. There's LeBron's future. Chris Paul exists. Anthony Davis. Mike Conley being moved and maybe a buyout candidate. Jared Allen, they're floating out there as a name. There's the guys with the Kings and DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine. There's DeMontis Sabonis. Juju, of all of the stuff that's going on right now, what are the things that are standing out to you the most?
Bro, I checked out around Giannis. I ain't gonna hold you. I heard you, but it started running together. You did. But before we move on to that, I want to comment on the James Harden in Cleveland. As awesome as it is to get that defensive liability in Darius Garland out, you just picked up Schroeder, and you saw what Jalen Brunson did to him in the playoffs last year. Over there. Excuse me, your shoes are over here, and you're over here, sir. Which way you want to be? You dig? And James Harden isn't necessarily known as the best defender in the world. I say that. So, I don't know. Cleveland, I like where your head is at. You're all in. You're putting the chips to the table. But I'm not sure if these chips you're putting in or getting back is worth the struggle. You did.
I do, because I actually agree with you on this. I dig.
Okay, good.
I dig. No, to me, like, I get what you're saying there, where it's not like all of a sudden they're turning Darius Garland into some tremendous two-way player, but what they are turning him into is someone who's incredibly durable. And we've seen what Donovan Mitchell can do off ball in earlier stages of his career, and to give him a primary playmaker who can kind of help alleviate some of what he's had to do as a playmaker, I think does give him a space to score. But Juju, was it Giannis that's the other thing that's standing out to you? Like, what else from what's going on around the trade deadline and the rumor mill is sticking out the most? Because there are, or the deals. Like Jaren Jackson Jr. is crazy. That happened at the end of our live stream yesterday.
Yeah, I'm still very interested in what 12 going to be doing. Ja Morant. Where's Ja going to end up? Because I'm here to say, if he end up in Minnesota, I'm a Timberwolves fan. Fight me, sue me, bite me, whatever you got to do to me. I'm a Timberwolves fan. You feel me? But I'm also really kind of optimistic about this Vooch situation in Boston right now. Big Voochie, man. Like, you did, like,
first I'm so sorry to the chat. Salute to the chat. King Grizzly, I see you. The Burrow, come on, man. And you are right, chat. I said James Harden. I don't think he was going to Cleveland. That's strike one for me. 2 more strikes, I'm suspended for a month. So you got the one. I thought he was going to go to New York, where LeBron going to end up. Spoiler alert. But neither here nor there. I think that Vucevic brings Boston more to that championship conversation than anything else.
I do wonder if his defense ends up being an issue for them come the postseason. But when it comes to the rest of these guys, like, and this is where I'd love to bring you back in. When it comes to Ja, like, the market seems to be so strange, and there have been reports that either
Memphis lowered their price.
Right. Well, Memphis lowered their price, but does that mean, like, Mark Stein was throwing out there the idea that it could mean they'd be willing to take on long-term money if they added draft capital, but then there have also been reports that they'd be willing to attach draft capital to get off of his money and get expiring deals. So are you seeing that as a possibility? Like, could Memphis end up attaching draft capital to Ja Morant just so that they can say, hey, we're good, we picked up all of these picks, and we can move forward?
To wash their hands of it, yeah, right. If you're like, you pretty much said it. If I'm acquiring toxic contracts, then all right, you got to compensate me for that. But if you're helping me clean my books, yeah, I'll
scratch your back.
Someone.
So do you see that as I'm looking at that and I'm going, well, if the Miami Heat are sitting here trying to acquire picks and they have all of this movable money where you can move Terry Rozier and Simone Fontecchio out to Memphis, where you can move Tyler Hero and either Norman Powell or Andrew Wiggins out to Milwaukee and the young guys there, and maneuver the different picks that you can get, particularly if you can get a 27 from Memphis and then get Charlotte to unprotect that 27 where you can move 4 picks to Milwaukee. Do you see that as a possibility where they're trying to go and get both Ja and Giannis and blow the whole thing up?
Yeah, there's a couple of questions you have to ask yourself. Number one is, am I gutting what would make it into a attractive situation to begin with, right? If I'm saying Tyler Hero's gone and Andrew Wiggins is gone and Norm Powell is gone.
Well, they wouldn't all have to be gone. Like, Norm, theoretically, in this situation, one of Norman Powell, like in terms of the finances, one of Norman Powell or Andrew Wiggins would need to go. You would still have Davion Mitchell as now your backup.
No, but
point guard.
Amin's making a good
Norman
point
Powell,
because then it looks like
Larson.
Phoenix from the last couple of
No,
years.
that's fair. That's the question.
Yeah. And so that's one thing. The other thing is also, like, what does a Giannis, Bam Adebayo lineup look like? Because that's 3 dudes who can't shoot.
Right. Yeah, that looks like a tough lineup. The paint is very clogged.
Yeah. You look like basically like the Memphis Grizzlies from like 2015 or whatever. So you got to find out, how do we make this so that there's still something that's feasible to work with. The problem with Ja right now, moving Ja, is that everyone who would be interested in Ja is also in the Giannis sweepstakes. So everyone's like, I'm not going to jeopardize what I got going on as far as an offer, take away flexibility of what my offer could be, because I went and chased this dude who's a reclamation project at this point, right? To the point where they're trying to incentivize people to get it done. But I do like what you're saying, Jeremy. It's like, if I'm doing it not because I really like Ja, but because I can get another first out of this, maybe that's something I have to consider.
The chat is saying that Amin has that pillow talk voice going right now.
I'm in a hotel lobby. There's 8 million people here, and I'm not trying to be like yelling and da-da-da-da, like, because
I know what's happening, y'all. I know what's happening. First off, happy Black History Month reminder. My boy, it's something in there right now. Something is sitting around. Something that's very beautiful is in arm's reach.
Lost connection?
Man, I wish. I wish.
It is. It's the you know what back there. It's the alcohol in the back.
Some dude just planted. You see that? I don't know what it is. Is it a camera? Is it a light? I don't know what it is. But he planted that right by me and just walked away. I don't know. Maybe we're all shooting in the same area right here.
Do you see it as a possibility that Minnesota can get this together? And Juju, like, obviously the Ja thing to Minnesota is interesting. The Giannis thing is interesting. But both of you, and I think, Juju, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this too, with what package you think is the best that's out there. And then maybe Amin, explain how it's possible that Minnesota can get to the place where they can actually offer something reasonable for the Bucks based off what they want.
Bruh, to me, I feel like what Miami has to offer is the one. If I'm the Bucks, you did, because everybody who Miami is offering has potential to kind of be a star or at least a great at their position, great at what they do. You did, because Tyler Hero, Bam. I don't think you should play with Bam, but at the same time, Larson. The whole roster is outstanding. I know Golden State, to me, goofy. I don't know who they paid in the internet lands to be pushing that they still got good faith bets going on or whatever, trades. I don't believe them at all. Get Golden State the hell up out of here. I don't want any of them old-ass knees on my team. And the only thing that was going good for y'all, you put a fire in Kuminga. Unfortunately, that fire went out game 2 and he went on somebody's ankle. You did? And so, sorry, I don't want nobody from over there. I mean.
So Golden State is interesting because their thing is centered around, we give you Kuminga. There's your young player. We'll give you picks. There's your picks. And then I think what Golden State can do that a lot of teams can't is say, I'll take some bad contracts back. And this is where it gets interesting. Everyone's saying Draymond. I keep going back to that, man. I'd trade Jimmy in a heartbeat if I'm Golden State. If it's like, I'll take Miles Turner contract off your hands or whatever. I'll make it happen, whatever it takes, right? From what Juju said about Miami, I think out of all the teams we've talked about, Minnesota, Golden State, I guess you could throw Atlanta in that mix as well. Miami has the most young guys you could get excited about, right? But does a team coming with a bunch of picks change that math, right? If Minnesota can somehow maybe get 2 firsts for Naz Reid, like is that more interesting?
Minnesota get 2 firsts for Naz Reid?
I mean, how do you think that works? I mean,
I love Naz
Somebody
Reid,
bites for
but
Naz.
Man, 2 firsts. That's interesting.
I mean, how does that work where, like, let's say Minnesota wants to trade Naz Reid for 2 first-round picks, and then they would use that for Giannis. Does Milwaukee say, okay, if you do this, we will make the trade? How comfortable does Minnesota have to be, or any other team for that matter, to go out, trade away player X to get the assets to then turn around and give it to Milwaukee? Like, do they have to have a guarantee that Milwaukee will do it if you do this?
So rarely do you tell them how. You just say, what's it going to take? And they say, look, this is the asking price. If you can get us this, and this many picks, you've got a deal. And so then there's usually got to give some time parameter because you don't want to be just waiting. But, yeah, like that's basically, you don't tell them who I'm moving. I could get 2 for first. You don't say that. You just say, if I can get you 2 first, does this get it done? And then maybe you talk a little bit about protections. Like, does it have to be? Can it be lottery protected first? Like those kind of conversations you got to have. But at the end of the day, you know what the deal is because we're up against this deadline that's 24 hours or so away. Someone could get into a bidding war and come up with a better deal in the meantime as you're trying to find these deals, which I think is another. And then you're stuck, which I think is another reason why you're probably going to see a deal happen in June and not tomorrow because you got more time to kind of build these things out as opposed to like doing your homework at the last minute, which is what the trade deadline pretty much is.
I mean, you look at the young players, right, quote unquote blue chip prospects that Milwaukee wants, and Minnesota was going to have to move heaven and earth to even try and get close to the picks and the players and all this stuff. Is Jaden McDaniels really the guy that Milwaukee's circling and being like, that's the cornerstone of our franchise going forward for the next 10 years? Because it doesn't feel like even Minnesota had big plans like that for Jaden McDaniels.
I don't think the cornerstone might be too far, but they think he's an all-star. They think he's that guy. And definitely if I were them, that would be a name I'd be just stuck on in the same way I'd be stuck on Kel'el Ware for
which one do you take, Kel'el or McDaniels?
I think McDaniels because McDaniels is doing it. Like Kel'el, dude, we're sitting around thinking, is he ever going to get it? Right. Does he understand? And McDaniels is like, no, I get it right now. He's his size allows him to guard 4 positions at an elite level. Offensively, he's gotten better. He's gotten a better shooter and all that. He's played on a team as winning. Like he's accustomed to like what it takes to be a competitor. He's a fiery guy. Does he approach the line sometimes? Yeah, but I kind of like that. Khalil Ware, we out here wondering like, yo, can you string together 3 games in a row?
Right. He did it. He did it in December one time, and it was like, okay, great. But it's been 2 months.
But then that's the point. It's like the point isn't play well. It's say play well every single day. Like there's no part of this where there's a finish line. You got to keep doing it. And I think to me, if it was just him struggling, like making shots or whatever, that'd be one thing. It's to him, it's like a motor thing. There's days where he's just not putting in the motor, and again, he's 7'2" or whatever, so there's some stuff you can't teach. But like, I think as a sure thing, McDaniels by far is a much better prospect.
God, you assholes are not doing the job right.
My bad. I'm just hype him up. I'm just trying to get the real questions answered.
No, I mean
Ware is phenomenal.
Thank you, Juju.
I like him too. I like him.
I like him too.
I like him.
Also to the chat right now, salute. Thank y'all for sticking with us this long, and we keeping it going. Irish Ouija, I see you.
The boy.
QC Man 2000, come on man. Slime Shinobi was handing. What's this? GPZ boy. You got to know Voodoo Child and JoJo from what that? LL Cool J, LL Lee, whoever you from, bro. I salute it. Back to you, Jeremy.
Before we wrap up, we have about 7 minutes left that we're gonna do this. Before we wrap, remind me, I'm gonna just throw out a predictive 5-team trade that lands Giannis on the Heat.
But
I just
that's
want to
2K
say it
stuff.
to put it on the record. I'm gonna put it on the record.
I mean, when was the last time a 5-team
all the time
multi-superstar trade
all
happened?
the time? Not multi-superstar. Ja's not a superstar right now.
Oh,
that's 2K
Not right
shit.
now.
That's 2K shit. That works in 2K.
I'll explain it to you. It's
That's
financial.
for Friday. Then he's a superstar again.
Oh, of course. Are you kidding? The moment he's here, he's a superstar. I'm talking superstar value.
All right, let's hear it.
No, I mean, we don't have to. What I wanted to get first, actually, is the Jaren Jackson thing. We have not. We
It's
didn't dive
Danny
into
Ainge
it.
scrooing the market. Is
Right.
manipulating
Like,
the entire market.
Why?
What's
Why do you
happening?
say that?
Because Jaren Jackson Jr. for 3 picks when you're talking about Giannis being able to go for
No, but
4.
that's what he's worth to Utah. Utah has all these picks. You can't use them all. Like, you literally don't have enough roster space.
Agreed.
Like, that's what he's worth to Utah. It doesn't mean that
Most
because
boring-
Jaren Jackson's worth doesn't mean that Jaren Jackson's worth 3 firsts, so what's Giannis worth? That's what he's worth to Utah.
Most boring team in the universe also, by the way. I'm talking about I don't give a damn what Utah Jazz do. I do not cheer for them my entire life.
How about Keontae George?
Keontae George. I'm free Keontae George. I promise till it's backwards. Because there's never been a section in my life where I even found the Utah Jazz kind of cute. Like, get them out of here.
Have you ever met a Utah Jazz fan?
Me, Juju, went. Amin was there too. We went to Utah for what was it? The All-Star game.
Car wash.
Okay, but in Utah you'll meet some, but like just anywhere else in the walk of life. Have you met a Jazz fan?
Utah. That's it.
I haven't.
Right.
Jeremy just did the
That's a
Dan
good
with his
poll.
mic off. He said something into the mic with his mic off.
No, I yelled it so that everyone could hear it.
You meant to do that into a
Yeah,
mic.
it's a good question.
Ambient
I do it with the
noise.
mic off in there all the time. Don't tell me what to do in the driver's
What
seat.
about that chair? They love turning their mic
Put
off.
it on the poll, Dan. Have you ever met a Utah Jazz fan? What did you say, in real life?
Yeah, outside of Utah.
Outside of Utah.
IRL.
Outside of Utah.
Also,
Yeah.
put it on the
Yeah,
poll.
yeah.
Did Jeremy mean to talk with his mic off?
Also put on the poll, will the Houston Rockets shock the world with a phenomenal trade by tomorrow? Because I think we not paying enough attention to the Houston Rockets right now. They need a point guard. It's some
Mike
available
Conley?
point guards.
Ayo
Come
Dosunmu?
on. You trying them. Nah.
That's what this should
That
be
dude's
right here. What
stud.
Juju just did, I want you guys to go around the room these last 5 minutes. I need predictions. What's happening tomorrow?
Okay,
I'll end
I'll
it
start
with
it
my
off.
5-team trade.
Go ahead, Juju.
Oof.
The Houston Rockets will land either Ja Morant, or some type of. I'm people forgetting about DeJounte Murray. DeJounte Murray is sitting right there. He got ice on his ankle, but watch out for him.
Or his Achilles?
He got ice on it. He icing it. But as soon as it's ready, come put this Rocket jersey on. So yeah, the Rockets gonna make a big move, big splashy move by tomorrow.
So I'll go a little bit off the board. I mean, look, as far as Giannis goes,
More than that?
Yeah.
DeJounte Murray.
No. As far as Giannis goes, like I do believe he's going to be traded tomorrow. All right, but I'll go a little off the board here, and I think right now, based off of 7 consecutive wins, I think Charlotte's going to do something. I think Charlotte has an opportunity.
Charlotte's a good team.
I think Charlotte has an opportunity for like the first time ever to do something that could maybe help them win a playoff series. Man, I mean, not a playoff series. Like if they make the playoffs, they're probably gonna be the 8th seed. You're gonna play Detroit, but they have an opportunity here to excite their fan base a little bit right now for the first time in forever. And I think Charlotte's gonna do something.
I actually really like that take because I've been undercover Charlotte fan. I love Concanippo. I think he's been incredible.
You stealing his prediction?
No. I'm just saying I like what he's thinking about. I'm going to go to
quick question.
Go ahead.
Quick question, Tony, in the middle, because you just sparked it. A knife is a knife. A knock is a knock.
Yeah.
I feel like my boy name is Nipple. Like
Concanippo?
I mean, I didn't hear
There's
no
a lot
there,
of
back to
U's
you.
and E's and P's and N's. I'm like, God.
Yeah.
Con nipple.
Con nipple.
Con nipple.
If you go through any rabbit hole, take a look at the Knipple family. I mean, you've done the deep dive on the Knipple family.
The names of all the kids.
Not only that, the brothers are even all like the same thing. Like they're
they're
insane.
all with K's.
It's like
They
the
all
Flying
have
Willendas.
K.
They're just like this
They
family
also-
of people.
They also have like when they played Milwaukee, you know how like whenever you will play your hometown, you request extra tickets, and sometimes a guy like, I got 200. They said he requested 6,000 tickets. And I was like, I've never heard that in the history of the NBA.
We'll take these 4 sections, please. Thank you.
My boy told me, he was like, guess how many? I'm like, it was like 50. He's like, no, like a lot. Like who's the most? I was probably like 100, maybe 200. He said 6,000. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
The Knipple family. Take a look. I'm going to go with another team that's won 7 in a row. I think the New York Knickerbockers are going to do something interesting.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know what it is yet. I think they're gonna try and make a move, even if it's not in the Giannis situation. Just to try to clear up some things, get a couple picks in
I
there.
feel like Juju named names. You guys are being a little vague with your predictions, but
what is he going to say? Giannis is going to go to Charlotte?
Just say like you could give me a name of what you think Charlotte would get. And
I mean, I could see them moving LaMelo Ball. But they would have to get they're gonna have to get someone they believe is good in return.
Really good, right.
But I think Charlotte's gonna do something.
I think New York can move off a cat.
Once again, those are guys leaving, not coming. But anyway, Jeremy, what's your prediction?
I've got a 5-team, 11-player
All right,
billion.
let's go to Amin
trade.
first.
Christ.
Amin, what's your prediction?
My prediction is Philly does a deal to get under the luxury tax. Because we talked about it on
Right after
basketball.
Embiid came out and said the team doesn't spend the last few years.
We talked about it on Basketball Illuminati. The Paul George suspension, the big thing that no one's talking about is it takes them to just about $1 million over the tax. So basically, if they can get rid of second-year center Johnny Broom.
Oh, what did Johnny Broom do to you?
Oh, good
Come
college
on.
player.
What did Johnny Broom do to you?
Trade for
Johnny
Don't
Broom.
Connect.
Oh, Connect could be on the move too. I believe.
Connect is
Under
on the move.
speaking
I
of
got
Dalton
sources.
Connect, an under the apron prediction by Amin. All right, over to Jeremy.
Is that better? Do you like that one better?
I
You
don't
guys
love
have
it.
brought up some things that I love here. You brought up Charlotte. You brought up Dalton Connect. So here we go. Involving 5 teams: the Miami Heat, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Los Angeles Lakers, the Memphis Grizzlies, and the Charlotte Hornets.
Oh, God.
In this trade, Dalton Connect gets moved to the Hornets so that the Hornets convey the 2027 first-round pick for the Heat. They unprotect it. That becomes a pick there. Why? Because Memphis sends a 2027 first-round pick to Miami alongside John Morant in exchange for Terry Rozier and Simone Fontecchio so that they can get 2 expiring contracts. What does that do for Miami? It unlocks all 4 tradable first-round picks, 2026, 2028, 2032, and 2030. All 4 of those go to Milwaukee alongside Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, Jaime Jaquez Jr., and Kasparis Yakachonis. But not only 4 picks go to the Bucks, a 2032 protected first-round pick, lottery protected from the Lakers, goes to the Bucks. Why? Because the Heat move Andrew Wiggins to the Lakers, who's on a player option for next year. And ultimately, they get that pick to go to Milwaukee. So it's 5 picks to Milwaukee. Rui Hachimura joins Terry. Rui. Don't ruin this.
No, the last name.
Hachimura. Rui Hachimura goes with Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Kasparis Yakachonis, and 5 first-round picks to the Bucks. The Heat land Giannis Antetokounmpo, John Morant, Thanasis Antetokounmpo, and Gabe Vincent.
If that happens verbatim, I'll eat my shoe.
All right. Get ready for it.
Every part of it.
Every single part of it, I guess, has to happen.
I'm at every part of his shoe.
Every part of the shoe is getting
That's right.
eaten.
That's right.
That's it? That's all you'll do, the
believe.
shoe?
Just trying to think of something wacky I could eat.
I can think of a couple of wacky things.
Lock it in. The shoe is wacky.
Nah, it's not that
Dude ate the
wacky.
The
tweet.
shoe is supreme wacky.
Thank you, Juju.
Do the FSU thing, the guy that ate the dog shit.
Oh.
Well, it's a shoo-in that you'll enjoy our NBA trade deadline special tomorrow. Tomorrow from 2 to 4, we'll be live after the show. It'll be a separate live from what we're doing on our standard live show, but we'll be live here on YouTube. I believe all of these people, except for Chris, will be involved in that. We're trying
Chris
to get
Sorry, audience.
He's got stuff to do.
What do you got to do?
But it'll be
I'm gonna take a quiz.
We'll be live from 2 to 4, simply so that we can react to everything that is happening or not happening. Maybe nothing happens.
Can you
but
imagine?
It would be really funny.
Oh, yeah.
It does feel like it's the kiss of death with us doing that. But there should be a lot of movement. We're looking forward to doing it. Amin, Juju, thanks for joining us. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.
I can't wait for the deal to go down as soon as we're off the air.
100%.
3.
Oh, you know
2,
the heat.
1.
They're doing it
All the
tonight.
trades.